leaders. Can't see that on the monitor, at least for now. Here's somebody popping on.
That was me, Bradley.
Oh, hey, Brad.
How are you?
Really good, thank you.
I think Craig he's right down below me. I went upstairs to get a countdown. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 8 2.5 stocks in the water. I even found another one for you. The 44 is going to be
good.
Apparently answering the bell.
Excellent.
At least they are in the water. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
And Brad,
6,
I have
7,
driver
8.
John Gibney.
Yes, I think that's right. I don't have my sheet right in front of me.
Yep.
I just came up to set a watch, but I think that's right.
Perfect. Jeff Ayler comes back to start finish to join us here, thanks to Canyon Lakes Golf Course and the.
It's on the other side.
To be fair, Jeff, I think they did remove the governor on these golf carts because these are for staff. They're actually for the crew that works around the golf course.
Yeah,
So-
it was great, Michael. I unofficially had a clock mile per hour rating myself of 13 miles per hour on Paul Parrish Drive.
That's pretty good. That's pretty darn good for a golf cart, actually. Well, welcome back to Start Finish.
Thank you, Michael. Glad to be back. And weather continues to cooperate with us here on day number 2 of 3. So far, Mother Nature has been on our side for the Columbia Cup, and we're 6 minutes and 40 seconds away until 2.5 stock.
And Brad
heat
just
number
mentioned
3.
that John Gibney and the 44 is in the water.
Okay.
So that's certainly good news.
Good to see John in the water, and let's hope they can have a little bit better result than they did in the second heat yesterday, as Jeff Bernard so far dominating this weekend in the S1, the Silver Cloud Inns strong racing craft. And when you got Jeff Bernard in a boat and with assistance from Daryl and Vanessa Strong, that's good handicapping. They're S1, they're defending champion in 2.5 stock, and that means they're good. They are good.
We talked about this yesterday. He was able to get into lane 1 both times with the park and start.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to challenge? Because that's going to be the key to have an opportunity to win.
Well, I think Jason Oslockson in the 77 Fury, I like the way Jason drives. I've seen him pilot numerous times in the Pacific Northwest when I made it out here at Lake Spanaway and Pateros. But Gunnar O'Farrell, I like the way Gunnar looked yesterday, and I think that monkey business on the inside, if he can get lane number 1 a good start, that bright yellow number 12 could be tough to handle on the pins, but he needs to be on the buoy row and needs a dynamite start.
Yeah, and I guess if somebody wanted to hit a flying start on the outside, what's the overlap rule to move inside?
Same as a GPA. It's
Sure.
a full rooster tail. And
So there would be an opportunity if you were outside at full throttle, potentially to have enough overlap by turn number 1 to slide over.
Exactly right. And that's where the advantage comes when you're ahead of your competitor. That rooster tail can be used as a weapon, so to say, to put your competition behind you in a more hindrance position and tough to catch back up to you on the race course. We're under the 5-minute mark, Michael, and boats leaving the pit area, and right now we look to be in sync with our count sequence.
That's
for
fantastic.
Heat 3.
Fantastic. And heat number 3, thanks to the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 112 and the National Electrical Contractors Association. Out on the course, the bright red boat will be the 6 with Kyle Davenport. Right behind him on the backstretch is going to be the 1. That will be Jeff Bernard. Silver Cloud Strong Racing. Bright yellow boat will be next. That's Gunnar O'Farrell in the 12. On the inside, the 77 with Jason Osloskin. It's black and orange. So the boats now all heading to the top end. That is turn number 2 in our 2-turn mile and 2/3 oval on the Columbia River course.
Mile and 2/3, 3 laps are in, and for our fans along the shoreline and watching online, these boats 16 foot in length, all powered by a 2.3-liter 4-cylinder stock Ford engine, 750-pound the racing trim. Competition shoot speeds here at Tri-Cities, Columbia River, 100 to 105 miles per hour. And Michael McDonald, the park and starting is already beginning at 3 minutes, 25 seconds. That was Davenport, and now he's back up more in a planning attitude. But I mentioned him yesterday. a younger driver. He has a good boat. I think the experience is not right there yet, but this is a good learning curve for him.
Yeah, as things set right now, you definitely see Jeff Bernard wanting to hold on to lane number 1, but right on his hip is the bright yellow boat with Gunnar O'Farrell.
And great to see Jade Deathridge back out on the race course in the turquoise and white Crazy 8s. Jade was involved in an unfortunate automobile accident 2.5 years ago. This is her return to APBA inboard hydroplane racing right here at the Columbia Cup in 2.5 stock. We're 240 away, and Michael, I've seen Jade drive before. Injured or not, she's healthy now. Look out.
That's fun. The boat's coming up the Griggs backstretch. In that lane 1 position currently is Jeff Bernard. Davenport, though, putting the throttle down and heading up towards turn number 2. And then you've got the yellow 12, that is. Monkey Business, Gunnar O'Farrell, that's now trailing Bernard. I think they're going to come back around one more time. A little bit early with 2 minutes.
Michael, we've got one dead in the water just about the halfway mark up the back chute. And I'm not certain who that is. I don't think that's Justin Burnett, but would that be John Gidme in the 44?
I believe so. It's a yellow and white craft.
And trailing back behind the dead boat in the water, that appears to be Jacob Malden in the 331. We're 1:40 away, and right now, Michael, the parking and the starting, they're going to putt to the start-finish line buoy, but we'll see who gets lane number 1.
Yeah, way early, aren't they, at the apex of turn number 2 here with 1 minute and 28 seconds?
Lots of time to kill, but with the park and start, the putt-putt starting sequence, they should be in fine positioning. It's just a matter now who will establish that 1 lane prior to that exit pin off turn number 2, the start-finish line. 1:10 until the start, but by my eye right now, Michael,
Bernard's in 1.
Bernard is in 1 now. Is Osloxen trying to create a lane in 2, or
Yes.
did O'Farrell slide out a little bit?
I think there's room. Looks like there's plenty of room.
55 seconds away, 2.5 stock, heat number 3. Jeff Bernard has won the first 2 heats of the weekend in this class. The pace will be picking up here. We're still 45 seconds away. Michael McDonald, they'll creep and crawl around turn number 2. They'll hit the throttle at about the 15-second mark. Bring them to the green flag for heat 3 and 2.5 stock.
They just hope that 2.5 liter will answer the call when they hit the throttle. On the inside, Bernard. Well, you've got the turquoise boat. That's the 8 with Jade Deathridge way out in front here in about lane number 4 as they come around the exit pin now, turn number 2 onto the front stretch with 15 seconds. And the driver's now starting to wind it up. So Bernard in 1, Osloxen in lane number 2. Lane number 3 will be O'Farrell in the yellow boat. The orange and white boat is Burnett. And trying to find a lane inside, look at who creeps inside, Davenport, as they come across start-finish. And it looked like a clean start. Davenport is out in front along with Jitson Burnett.
Boy,
it is a legal start.
Boy, Michael, Burnett had a good run, but Davenport had a beautiful start. We got a triple-decker and some more in turn number 1, but Bernard is there. But to his outside, it looks like Osloxen is in front in double 7.
The 7 leading as they hit the back stretch. Oh, on the outside, look at Davenport in the red boat peak out there. He's deck to deck now.
Boy,
Osloxen,
Davenport looking good.
Yep, and now Bernard's starting to gain a little bit, but that's deck to deck racing as it looks like Osloxen will take the lead heading up the backstretch. Now on the inside, a great job by Bernard trying to claim the lead, but then shooting back in front. Osloxen has more to offer.
Osloxen now. Bernard stepped back there in second. Davenport comes back up. We got a triple-decker for second. Bernard to the inside, O'Farrell in the middle, and Davenport driving a great one on the outside. But right now, Michael, your clear-cut leader is Osloxen in 77.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to Jeff Bernard. He must have hit some rough water and backed out of it. The race right now is for second place. The bright yellow boat, that's Gunnar O'Farrell in the 12. Davenport ahead of him in the 6. And slow going and turning into the infield, the race leader.
Oh,
The race leader, Osloxen, is into the DMZ, the Esco Electric DMZ, and off plane.
And right now, that will set up a deck-to-deck battle. And Kyle Davenport, Michael, the driver I mentioned, the youngster driving the wheels off the number 6. And Gunnar O'Farrell has his hands full. We're halfway through it, and Davenport is extending the lead.
Yeah, but look at climbing back into it. Really nice job by that 12 with Gunnar O'Farrell, the monkey business. On the inside, he'll have the shorter course around when they get to the top end.
And Bernard going back to the pits in Silver Cloud ends.
So 2 of the favorites, Ozloskin, Bernard, not going to finish. Here's the race. Davenport on the outside. O'Farrell on the inside. Boy, that was a tough turn, and swinging out, O'Farrell almost got into the wake of Davenport and really backed off the throttle. Davenport with the lead by almost a rooster tail at the end of lap number 2.
Boy, beautiful dueling. Davenport made it tough for Gunnar O'Farrell exiting turn number 2. White flag displayed for the top 2, and right now, Michael, Davenport's leads extends, but it's O'Farrell in second, and a good run for Justin Burnett in that 3rd spot. Final time around for your top 3.
And heading over to Tire Factory, turn with AJ Brewster, that is. Look at Kyle Davenport in the 6.
I would love to be in the race, but Davenport looks really strong coming through. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to catch it. On a note, that's where I grew up, actually, is Davenport, Washington.
Awesome.
So I'm rooting for the Davenport boat.
Fantastic run for Kyle Davenport in the 6. Now a 4 rooster tail lead heading up the Griggs backstretch into turn number 2. One more time around at the checkered flag. But just amazing, the race leader, Ozloskin, moving into the infield because he felt something was wrong and lost power and he was off plane. Here we go to the exit pin of turn number 2. Kyle Davenport onto the front stretch to the Mosteller Memorial start-finish line and the checkered flag for heat number 3, Kyle Davenport. Second place finish, monkey business. That's Gunnar O'Farrell in the 12, and a 3rd place to the orange and white 225 with Judson Burnett. So big points go to Davenport after 2 of the leaders drop out of the race.
Boy, Davenport drove a great race. He had the best start of all when the clock struck 0. And that's a big win for Kyle Davenport in the number 6 trap. Some drama with Jeff Bernard in the Silver Cloud ends. Michael, I think he might have got a little bit wet on that back straightaway with that water coming into the engine scoop. And we see the 77 of Ozloskin dead in the water. He has to be heartbroken because he drove a beautiful race on lap number 1. Then a problem happened as he went into the DMZ zone, as Michael mentioned, entering turn number 1, working lap number 2. So some dramatics. Some boats we didn't think that wouldn't finish.
That's not what we expected at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. So right now in the ESCO Electric infield, it's time for a Thornworks Construction tow rope. Unfortunately for the 77 with Jason Ozloskin.
Michael, you do a great job with 610 AM KONA. You've got every part of this race course covered with sponsors. Great job.
Well, there's a lot of local people that care about our races here that make it possible for us to do what we do. Unfortunately, we do have a lane infraction on the 6 on Kyle Davenport, and the win is going to go to the 12, the yellow boat, monkey business with Gunnar O'Farrell.
I was wondering that when they exited turn number 2 to come down to get the white flag, what lane was there? Obviously was not enough lane for Chaz Dodge, our chief referee of APBA inboard up above us. So Kyle Davenport's win physically will go away with the DSQ, and Gunnar O'Farrell will pick up the win in the monkey business. Justin Burnett will get the 2nd spot. And Michael, we were so excited with the race. I believe Jay Deathridge might have crossed in 3rd. And craft number 8, Tana Morissette, our engineer, will go upstairs and check. And if Jade finished 3rd, she'll be tickled.
Unbelievable. There you have it. But great racing, lap number 1 on that back stretch over by AJ Brewster in the Tire Factory lift. Yeah. Thanks to Freedom Equipment Rentals. I mean, we had 4 boats that you could have thrown a blanket over.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Brad.
So we had a lane infraction on our apparent winner, Kyle Davenport. Is there any talk Boy, I'm going out on a limb on this one. I'm way down in the pit area, obviously, but from where I was sitting, it certainly looked like Gunnar missed the exit pin of the top corner at the completion of lap number 2.
And that's
Did
where
anybody else catch it?
I did not catch that, but that is our initial error race violation. And Brad, possibly if that happened, now it will be a judgment call, I believe, with the chief referee. If he feels that that boat might have been forced in there and had nowhere to go, he might not get that violation going inside that exit pin. So some dramatics here in 2.5 stock heat 3.
Do they have video to look at?
It is on video with Tate Meyer and the team with H1 Unlimited, so we'll see if we go to the videotape.
Tate and Jared Meyer do a fantastic job.
Oh, beautiful.
It really is.
Beautiful work.
Unbelievable finish. And now still trying to sort out the details if there may be any additional penalties that will be put in place. But as for now, first place to Gunnar O'Farrell, Monkey Business, the 12. And Jetson Burnett will finish in second in the 2:25. Do we have anybody down on the dock? I would imagine they're all heading back to the Lamson pits by now. American Radiator pit reporters are down in place thanks to our friends at American Radiator, keeping it cool since 1979.
Just wanted to let you know that we're hot. We finally got this thing back and working.
Good.
So if you actually call me, I'll be able to talk to you and actually converse.
That's even better. So, is anybody back to the dock? Because that will be our next driver reaction after what we found out, the disqualification of Kyle Davenport for a lane infraction. So far, no word on any kind of a penalty on the 12, Jeff Ayler.
Okay, we're having some discussions down here, and it sounds like, in talking with radio personnel, they're waiting to see here with regards to the 12 who is going to get the victory in that, because he definitely went inside the exit pin. Now the question is, as you said, Jeff, did he get forced into there or what? So I'm assuming there are some conversations up there going on about that. To me, the big part is my eyes are still working, apparently. He clearly went inside the exit pin. He missed it by 10, 15 feet.
From Michael and I's vantage point here, the rooster tail of Davenport had the Monkey Business covered up on the inside, so you actually had a better look at it than we did down the pit area. So right now, Brad, the driver's rep for 2.5 stock could be a busy customer.
I'm sure he's got a lot of people to talk to. And a lot of people that probably aren't that thrilled to hear from him either.
I'm being told now down here that Gunnar got the win.
Okay.
So he is also standing right in front of me, and if you, I'm not sure who, well, you and I haven't really been down this road, Michael McDonald, but there's one thing Gunnar O'Farrell loves to do, and it is talk on the media, especially live. He can't wait. He likes talking to me about as much as he wants a root canal, and now they're wishing him good luck. You didn't come across the finish line first, but we're being told now that you got the win. And apparently there was something that happened up there at the top end of the race course on lap 2. What did you see from where you were sitting?
Top end, lap 2, coming out of turn 2.
Yep.
Boat on my outside, about 2 boat lengths ahead, moved in on me. I had no choice. Had to go inside the buoy, unfortunately. So he was penalized for that.
Okay.
For forcing a lane. So.
And they've ruled then that forced you inside, so therefore they're not going to penalize you.
Exactly.
Then the upside to this whole thing is, congratulations, you got a win out on the Columbia River.
Thank you, Brad.
Everything feel good? The boat run good? It looks fast.
It's getting better and better. I'm not used to this big course on it.
You're not used to interviews too, but this one you've done pretty good.
Thank you.
You're doing well. You take care. Gunnar O'Farrell, our winner in that last heat of 2.5 liter stock. He is running away from me now, literally. He loves talking to me.
Yeah, it's easy to talk when you win.
I was just going to say that.
Absolutely. But I'm going to tell you that that statement, Craig, you're wrong. Not for that guy. He does not like that microphone. We got to work on a few things, but he did good. He did good. So he did a good job driving too. My eyes still work, and yeah, I did have the good look, Jeff, because as you know, where we are in the pit tower, we're almost looking right straight up the straightaway. So anything that would happen like that, we're not going to have a rooster tail running in front of us. So Gunnar O'Farrell, the winner, and he's all the way down. He's pitted all the way down by the 8 and the 9. So He's way down on the big dock, so. But Craig and I are in such good shape, right, man? We just blew down here.
You know, what were we doing, about 12 miles yesterday between us?
Between us, I'm sure we did.
And I didn't have a go-kart. You get a go-kart.
I have a go-kart?
Yeah, you get the
Would
little
you
golf
point it
cart.
out to me?
The only problem is with the golf cart is I always have a snap hook anytime I jump on one of those.
There we go. Well,
Does that mean
yes.
you guys are both qualified now for that shore? 12 trips over a certain speed?
Yeah. Yeah, I've only got 13 laps. I got 2 more to go.
I just try and drive to the ladies' tee at Canyon Lakes.
Oh, my goodness. Anyway, it's all good down here. What have we got next on our schedule? I can answer that question. And good news, here comes Dustin Eccles' ride, the GP17. Since we're down on that dock, they went out, remember, and tested that new motor. Apparently things are good because the boat has come off the trailer, and it is just about to find its way into the Columbia River, looking up toward the other dock. That's a 2.5-liter stock. So we're going to have our first GP dropped in the water. And maybe, just maybe, I might be able to get a quick word with Dustin. Dustin's awesome about this, just asking for a quick soundbite. You ready to go? You went out, tried the new motor. Obviously, it ran well. You're going to go.
Yeah, it ran great. We're just breaking it in. Our engine builder told us to take it easy on it, and we're going to do a similar thing this run. We're going to be on the outside and take it easy, make sure it breaks in right so we can run real hard in the final.
That's the game plan. Thanks, God. Dustin Eccles. So there you got it, straight from the man himself. Don't look for them to do anything except be on the outside and run like he did on those couple of test laps we had just when we came back from the air show break.
Special thanks on News Radio 610 KONA to our pit sponsor, American Radiator, keeping the Northwest cool since 1979 with free pickup and delivery for new or rebuild or record radiators, clean DPFs and DOCs, and welding and metal fabrication jobs too. The Northwest leading radiator specialists are in Pasco and serve the entire Northwest. Find out more at their website, AmericanRadiator.com. Also, thanks to Jerry and the crew at ESCO Electric, your Generac backup generator experts for the whole home. When the lights go out, yours stay on with Generac from ESCO. Call 509-547-5504 or letsgowithesco.com. Hydro wrap-up shows coming up. Our Rooster Tail wrap-up right after our broadcast conclusion here. We'll recap the day's events thanks to Broadmoor RV. So while you're camped out in traffic, make sure you're tuned to 610 KONA and join us. Broadmoor RV, super people, super prices, super service, family-owned and operated for 26 years. Broadmoor RV Superstore, where the buying season never ends. Also, thanks to Legends Casino Hotel's Summer Celebration. It's still going on through August. Your chance to win a tropical vacation before the sun sets. Use your Legends Rewards card to earn entries for cash drawings, great giveaways, and more. And George Thorogood coming to Legends in Toppenish, August the 3rd. Take a time out. More of our coverage. It's the Grand Prix America Series next on 610 KONA and 610KONA.com. only the best, and we watched the Blue Bridge. We haven't had much traffic trouble up there. Normally we've seen incidents up on the bridge by this time, and it's really been pretty clean. So good job, drivers. Make sure you're 10 and 20 on the wheel and following not too close.
Exactly.
Traffic in front of you.
And try to keep your eye away from the Columbia River when you're at 10 and 2.
Yeah, no problem right now because there's not much happening as we wait for the 3 o'clock start for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 112 and National Electrical Contractors. Oops, check that. We're going to go with the 2 p.m. start time for the UA Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 598 Signatory Contractors Grand Prix boats coming back out in our coverage thanks to Coleman Oil on 610 KONA and 610KONA.com. And we've got some news about the boats, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is, Michael. I learned this before I came back to the start-finish line. Rob Hall in the Hammock Construction Premonition, they received some hull damage back in heat number 2 where they finished in 3rd place. They are a scratch for this heat, but they will be able to repair the boat to get back into activity tomorrow. And one we just learned of moments ago, thanks to Tana Morissette with H1 Unlimited and Larry Lynn with Grand Prix America. The GP12 Ice Harbor Brewery presents Rapid Rabbit. They are a scratch due to a broken engine mount.
Ooh.
Early reports were when he went dead in the water, it was a loose battery cable. So this development just came moments ago. So we'll be down to a 3-boat heat here in GPA, heat number 3. And with that, we'll go over the points right now. On top is the Stettner Construction Group, GP15 with 195. In second spot with 190, Reliable Diamond Tool. With 95 points in third is Ice Harbor Brewery. 90 points in the 4th spot, Hammock Construction. And the 5th position, the Truss Company presents Miss Renee with 40 points. But, Michael, the points are critical because come final heat time, whoever has the most points gets lane number 1 for the final. That's critical.
Well, and for the boats that are out in heat number 3 that's upcoming, that limits your opportunity to make the show in the inside lane.
Exactly, but the top 2 are in this one, and right now the lane assignments in Heat 3 will have Greg Hopp in lane number 1, Jeff Bernard in lane number 2, and Dustin Eccles on the outside. I spoke to Jeff Bernard after the win earlier today. Yesterday they had the wrong propeller selection, is why they finished 3rd in that heat. They put a better wheel on this morning, and it ran real well. They're looking to get another win here to hopefully vault above the Stettner Construction Group. But the Stettner Construction Group with Greg Hopp would love nothing more better than to beat the 79 to stay on top in points going into the 4th heat tomorrow morning.
Now, the real question, I guess, for Shell Hayes and the 12, the local sponsorship, Ice Harbor Brewery, is it a broken motor mount or just a loose motor mount?
We'll have to clarify that. If it's a broken motor mount,
that's
severe,
a different story.
Yeah, that could be a real tough fix. And it's a tough break because that's your defending champion here in Grand Prix America at the Columbia Cup, being Austin Eckert and Bob Shellhaze's number 12. We're 5 minutes and 35 seconds away until Grand Prix America, heat number 3, and it will be a 3-boat heat with Greg Hopp, Jeff Bernard, and Dustin Eccles.
And our tech report brought to you by All City Transmission, treating you like family with honest work and quality price. Visit them at allcitytrans.com. Coverage our backstretch for all classifications of racing and the vintage boats too. Griggs and Griggs Ace Hardware. It's for tailgating fun with pop-up canopies, Yeti coolers, coasters, and so much more. Griggs and the Tri-Cities Ace Hardware stores with 4 locations to serve you and at griggsonline.com. Tow rope coverage, and we saw that unfortunately just a little bit ago in the 2.5-liter race, is brought to you by Thornworks. The Thornworks tow rope. If your house isn't happy, no one is. Commercial construction, residential construction, and remodeling, kitchens and bathrooms too, even landscape construction, maintenance, painting, and exterior. Not a volume construction company. They want every client to be the next to refer us to their friends.
Under the 5-minute period, we're 4 minutes and 30 seconds until the start. The first boat to come out, the dominant orange, checkered flag effect, Reliable Diamond Tool, Bad Influence. Jeff Bernard, chauffeurs out of Kent, Washington. The driver out of Webster, Massachusetts is Mike Grindell. The sponsors are Jonathan and Charlotte Thompson with Ready To, primary sponsor for the GP79 this year. Next boat out, the multicolored craft, the GP17. The Trust Company presents Miss Renee. Dustin Eccles, yes, that is the flavor pack driver driving in GPA this weekend. Dustin hails from Monroe, Washington. Craft owner Brian Richards out of Snohomish. And we're waiting for the old reliable, and old reliable just fired up, leaving the pit dock. It's the 25-year-old craft. Stettner Construction Group, Greg Hopp chauffeurs out of Lake Stevens, Washington. His father, Jerry Hopp, the boat owner. Michael McDonald, 3 set to go, all 3 up and running.
Yeah, and maybe the best we've seen the 17 look so far.
It looks nice right now off the exit pin at turn number 2, but you heard Dustin Eccles with Brad Luce earlier. Want to work this engine in gingerly, maybe come final heat time. This is a boat that everyone has talked about for years and years. If the setup is right, if the engine is right, this is a hull that can be a winner in Grand Prix America. Coming up on 3 minutes. 3 minutes until the start. 1 2/3 course. 3-lap heat. Brad Luce, you're in the pit area. How do things look from your view in the pits as we get ready for GPA Heat 3?
Well, I think you got yourself a match race in this one. You were just talking about Dustin Eccles, and that's what he told me. He's going to put the boat on the outside and just break this engine in. That's what they were doing when we came back from the air show break, and trust me, 2 laps at slow speed does not break an engine in. So don't look for much out of them. You're going to have a showdown here between Hop and Bernard. I wish I had $1 for every time those two have squared off against each other. Not many secrets in this one, Jeff. These guys know each other really well. If Hop can wind that thing up like he's been able to do, he's showing a lot of straightaway speed.
And Brad, getting back to Dustin Eccles with the Trust Company presents Miss Renee, I think you would agree with me. They would love these 3rd place points, depending on how Heat 4 goes, to maybe get a good lane in the final heat for the Thunder Cup.
Absolutely. This is playing out very well for them because they're not going to run hard in this, but if they can not run hard and pick up 3rd place points, that will help them. To your point, maybe get a little bit better draw, maybe 1 lane better for that final. Coming up on 140 to the start. 140, Jeff.
And Dustin Eccles goes way out wide at the exit pin at turn number 2 over by the Buffalo brothers that are on the Columbia Park side.
And speaking of the Buffalo brothers, Michael, I saw Tad Dean in the pit area earlier. He was wearing his Buffalo brothers gear.
Proudly, I'm sure. 119 and counting.
Brad, they're coming to you, and right now Bernard and Hop, many years of experience of driving hydroplanes. Will Hop try to pull a trick out of the bag and maybe try to draw Bernard over for a gun jump? We've seen it happen before. Could it happen again?
It just might. Here they come down to the lower corner, and way to the outside goes Dustin Eccles at the 52nd mark. Next boat down here is Jeff Bernard, and then the Hopper's going to come up behind him. Could he try and do that? He just may. Like I said, there's no secrets between these two. It may be a movie shown him before. We're about to find out. Off the corner with 35 seconds, Jeff.
So Greg Hopp will be in lane number 1, the dominant Stettner Construction Group. Jeff Bernard, lane number 2 in the orange checkered flag effect reliable diamond tool. On the outside, the multicolored craft, the Trust Company presents Miss Renee. That is Dustin Eccles. All 3 boats approaching turn number 2, 15 seconds away. The 468 cubic inch supercharged engines are humming. 9 seconds. Hop and Bernard will be there first with Eccles trailing back. We are 3, 2, 1. Mark. It appears to be a clean start. Brad, they were both there at the line, but Bernard a slight lead on the outside.
Yeah, but here comes Greg on the inside. Greg's got that top end speed. He's going to get down here first. He's already got about 4 boat lengths on him, Jeff.
Boy, Hop shot out of there like a cannon, and the start is legal. And Greg Hop looking super sharp on the buoys, but there is Bernard, deck-to-deck action up the Griggs back straightaway. And now Hop pulls back, Bernard slows, and Bernard going dead in the water. Oh my, a development here in Grand Prix America Heat number 3 with reliable diamond tool nestling dead in the water. And right now it's clear sailing for Greg Hopp.
And Dustin Eccles could end up with second place points.
Very good point, Michael, and that could prove valuable for them when we go to the final. And Brad, right now it's a parade. Hoppins in front of you, just trying to keep it alive.
That's exactly what he's trying to do. And he knows what you know, even though he's in the cockpit, because Papa Jerry's one level below me here on the tower. He's told him what's going on in the backstretch with Jeff. Save the motor, just bring it home and bring the first place points with it. Halfway through our heat up the backstretch, Greg Hopp is showing a very strong boat this weekend.
For our very experienced inboard hydroplane race fans, the boat in front began its racing days as the Alamo. Ned Allen was the owner. Bo Scheid out of the Buckeye State of Ohio was the driver. And even in 2023, it's a dominant force in the Grand Prix America Hydroplane Series. Greg Hopp sees the white flag, accepts it 1 2/3 miles away from victory here in Grand Prix America, heat number 3. And Michael McDonald, key note here, you were right on it. The Trust Company presents Miss Renee. Brian Richards would love these second place points in heat 3.
It's unbelievable to see how much he's been able to leapfrog, mainly because of the two scratches with Austin Egret and Rob Hall. But then you have Jeff Bernard dropping off plane and losing power. You jump into second place, that's huge.
And right now with this finish, by my notes, it looked like Eccles could vault into the third spot right now, but still some work to do for both drivers. Final turn, final lap. Greg Hopp, the 2021 San Diego winner in Grand Prix America. Get your cameras out, swinging it way wide, close to shore. Your winner in heat number 3 of Grand Prix America, Greg Hopp in Stettner Construction Group. Also assistance this weekend with the GP15 with Overturf VW, ADS, Window Tint, and Safeway of Kennewick. And Michael, you made the right call. Right now that 468 still alive in the 17, but needs to get to this start-finish line buoy.
Well, he's got one turn left, and now at the apex.
Apex of the turn, Dustin Eccles. Richards Racing has been working hard in 2023, and right now things going their way with second place points here in GPA Heat 3 in the Trust Company presents Miss Renee.
Guys, I don't know where exactly Jeff Bernard started to have a problem. I don't know if it started when he was coming across start-finish line and it just exacerbated itself as he went through the corner and up the backstretch when he finally went all the way down. But one of you, I think it was you, Jeff, made the comment that, you know, Bernard got across the line first, but at some point coming across start-finish line, Greg Hopp looked like he was shot out of a cannon. And that thing had top end. He got down here to the corner. He had 3 boat lengths and was opening up water by the time he got to the entrance pin of the corner, and he was moving away then. That boat was really running.
But at the time that Bernard lost power, he was actually challenging on the backstretch and had actually edged out in front just a little bit.
Yeah, Brad, I'm glad you brought that up, because when I brought him across the line and with the engine sound, it was tough to hear you, but I was shocked when I looked up and you had the call of Hopp getting there first in front of Bernard. So you might be right, a problem might have developed right there at the start, because Jeff did lead the field across the line, but Greg was not that far behind at the start either.
I think Craig's about to get a word with him, but he's going to let Hopper get the obligatory bottle of water here, and then going to let him get the helmet off and a kiss. That's always the best part right there.
You got to have the kiss there first in the water.
Yeah, after you do that, win one of these things, it's worth a kiss with her. Never mind.
Careful!
Everything went well right from the start. You had it timed perfectly.
Yeah, it was a great start. You know, they had a little bit of acceleration and corner speed on us, but we had a whole lot of top end on them. So it was a great race. I would have much rather finished it on the water. I think we pretty much had them covered, but you know, they went down, and then we brought the Stettner Construction, Overturf, the Volkswagen, and Kia, ADS. We got all these local sponsors. It's great to get them in there. Pump Tech, we got Bardall, Plan B Garage, one of my buddies sponsoring the boat. We got everyone on board, and takes an army to get one of these things up front.
You know, everybody thinks that it's easy, okay, wind going away, but there's a little intimidation factor that goes. It's just trying to finish the race when the others are so far behind or out.
Yeah, well, you know, when the 79 boat went down, all I could hear was noises I've never heard before. You know, come on, baby, get to the end, you know, and all of a sudden you feel vibrations that aren't there, and, you know, and then you're like, come on, propeller, hang on, you know, and stuff. So, yeah, you know, one of these things are just animals. And the river, Columbia River, it fights back at every time it gets a chance, and so it takes a lot of stuff to put it all together.
Big points, too, because every point matters.
Oh, yeah, points are huge. This should pretty much lock as long as we finish our heat tomorrow. See, there's always that, right? But and I think we were about 100 points behind 79 boat in national points, so this should about tie us up, or we might even have a small lead. So, you know, this was huge.
All right, Greg, thanks for the time.
All right, thank you.
That is Craig West with Greg Hopp, the winner of the GP Heat number 3. And a special thanks to everybody here with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 112, and the National Electrical Contractors Association, bringing you the action. And the UA Plumbers and Steam Fitters, Local 598, along with their signatory contractors. We've got more racing coming up on the schedule, including the H1 Unlimiteds at 4 and 4:30 this afternoon, thanks to Par Lumber.
Hey, did you guys catch what Craig did a great job on the interview?
Oh, yeah.
But did you catch what Greg said there? What we were talking about before he got with Greg was, you know, was maybe Jeff having a problem at start finish, or is it just all the top end speed that's in that GP15? It's an older boat. It's longer by a little bit, but definitely narrower. He fights the boat through the corners versus these newer, wider, lower hulls. But when you straighten that thing out and with the right wheel and get it up to speed, the thing really runs. And he made the comment there to Craig that he had a whole lot of top end, meaning once he gets it wound up, it'll really go.
Brad, good point. And I will check with Larry Lynn, too, with Grand Prix America. I was not expecting a close national points race coming in here at Tri-Cities, but with that blemish for the Reliable Diamond 2, we'll see how the current points totals shake out officially after heat number 3, and hopefully we'll have that for you later. If not, we'll definitely have it before heat number 4 tomorrow at 8:45 a.m. But right now, Michael, unofficially on top in points is Greg Hopp in the Stettner Construction Group. Jeff Bernard will remain in the second slot in Reliable Diamond 2, but Dustin Eccles should vault to the third spot in the Trust Company Presents Miss Renee, and that's good news for that camp. And if the motor mount can be fixed, and we're still working on that developing story, we hope Austin Eckert can get back in the mix in the Ice House Brewing Rapid Rabbit tomorrow morning at 8:45.
Amazing story for Dustin Eccles and the Trust Company boat, right? Not even able to race yesterday. They had the catastrophic failure. They put a new engine in. It didn't look good this morning, and they jump out here and get second place points. Unfortunately, the Thornworks tow rope is out right now for Jeff Bernard. That's a really that's a big story in the GP Americas.
Oh, exactly right. And coming up at 3 o'clock, too, Michael, we'll go back to inboard action with the 2.5 stocks.
Go ahead, Pitts.
Now, it's Brad. I was going to ask a question. It's Austin Eckert's boat. Because I got the story just before you said it. I picked up the story down here about the loose battery cables, but then we brought up a broken motor mount, correct?
Well, we heard that it was loose.
I'm going to go down.
Or is it broken?
I'm walking that way. So if 2.5 stocks haven't even started to hit the water yet, or I'm not sure what's next on our schedule, and if I look at a sling, it's
2.5.
I got a sling headed toward a vintage boat. So anyway, whatever's next on the schedule, I'm going down to see if I can find Austin Eckert and what's going on with that particular team. I'll have a report for you shortly.
Thank you, Brad. American Radiator Pit Reporter and our All-City Transmission Tech Updates. All-City Transmission giving you fair, honest, reliable service that puts your mind at ease. Visit at allcitytrans.com. Also, American Radiator, keeping the Northwest cool since 1979. Leading radiator specialists out of Pasco to you at AmericanRadiator.com. Now, for those involved with the trucking industry, DPFs, DOCs, they can clean those out for you and get them right back to you. AmericanRadiator.com with free pickup and delivery throughout all of our great Northwest at AmericanRadiator.com. So coming up at 2:30, it's the Corwin Ford Vintage Heat, number 1. And then at 3 o'clock, the IBEW Local 112 and National Electrical Contractors Association 2.5 stock hydroplanes returning out to the Columbia River course. So we do have a little break in the action now. But I think the amazing thing, again, Trust Company, the 17 out there, getting that second place point. Third place here for the Columbia Cup, the Thunder Cup on the Columbia.
And local sponsor, they can't be more tickled.
Yeah.
And anything can happen in inboard hydroplane racing, and even in H1 Unlimited. You never know who will get the checkered flag, and lots of things can happen in 3-lap heats, 5-lap heats for the Columbia Cup final tomorrow at 4:30. And Michael, I like to handicap them, the 4-legged ones down at Churchill Downs. I'm not that good at it. You try to handicap them on this water, and more times than not, they bite you.
Also, thanks to Coleman Oil giving us the coverage of the Grand Prix America Series on 610 KONA and 610KONA.com. We will take a timeout. More coverage coming up from the 2023 Columbia Cup and HAPO Over the River Air Show with more vintage boats when we come back.
Well, the best I can tell, he's just out there to see if anybody drops out of it at all. He came out at the very last moment. Pocket Savers is still sitting down here with no indication of getting into the cockpit at all. He was an alternate boat. That's the way he is. Right now, old boy Alberto is way off the pace, so I take it that he is going to just simply drop off after the start.
Okay, it's Seco Aviation in lane 1, Pringles lane 2. And then it's the Budweiser coming out on top over the Miller Highlight. Whether they Circus as they come down, it is going to be a roaring start towards you, Dick Crippen.
As they come down, they are 3 abreast now. Coming into the first corner of turn number 1, Budweiser has taken the lead. Tommy Deeth out of Fairhaven, Michigan, and the Miss Budweiser in the lead, but he has got competition inside his rooster tail. There are 2 boats trying to get him on the inside, but Deeth holds him off as he comes out of the corner, guns it down the stretch. Circus now in second place. So John Prevost has moved up into second, and it looks like the Vantage Ultra is in third.
All right, the way they come down to corner number 3, Miss Budweiser with about a 6 or 7 boat lead over the second place Circus as Tommy Deeth clips in close to the green buoy, marking the entrance, slows it down, and then gets on the apex and hangs it on the hook again. Then it's the Circus with Chip Hanauer. He's into the turn, followed by the Vantage Ultra with Larry Lauterbach third. Fourth is Mr. Pringles, fifth is Seco Aviation, and that's the way they come. As they come down to complete lap number 1 of 5, it is Tommy Deeth of Fairhaven, Michigan. He's had a perfect day so far, and he checks in quickly. We'll find out the speed from
141.888.
141.8 as he comes towards you, Dick Crippen.
Tommy Deeth with a great ride in the red and white beer wagon. Miss Budweiser going into corner number 1. Holding it beautifully. Circus. Chip Hanauer now in second place. Chip being the replacement driver. John Prevost decided he'd rather have Chip drive it. The Vantage in third, and the Vantage is breaking apart. The Vantage is losing the tail off the back of it. He must have caught part of the rooster tail, but Larry Lauterbach is going to have to be concerned because it is now laying with the flat side out. That means it'll slow it down tremendously. He's got to feel the pressure on it. Meanwhile, Pringles sees the opportunity to try to move up on the back stretch.
A 7-second lead by our first place boat, Miss Budweiser, driven by Tommy Deeth as he hit some rough rollers in corner number 3. That bow just dug in. The water went up over the cockpit as they come down to complete lap number 2, 141.8. For the first place, Miss Budweiser in the last lap as it comes down now off the exit pin, comes down to complete lap number 2. John Lynch, when you see it, give us the speed, if you will.
132.939.
132.9, so he slowed it down 9 miles an hour. He's got a 8-second lead over the Circus with Chip Hanauer, followed by the Mr. Pringles, about 12 seconds off the pace. Down to you, Dick Crippen.
Budweiser handling beautifully through corner number 1 in turn number 1. He comes into corner number 2, a great job, and meanwhile, Chip Hanauer has really put the coals to it. Pringles in position now with no boat between him and second place. He'd like to move up in there if he could. Meanwhile, Larry Lauterbach is really fighting a battle. That tail is totally twisted around on the back of the Vantage Ultra. So as it stands right now, Lauterbach has dropped back to 4th place. It's Pringles, the boat you want to watch. See if he can keep his speed up and possibly try to close down Circus.
And the Circus, Dick, has closed the gap 3 seconds. It's only a 5-second lead for Miss Budweiser as they come around to complete lap number 3. And it'll be a little more than 2 more laps to go. Tommy Deeth driving Bernie Little's Miss Budweiser, followed by the Circus, owned by Fran Muncie, sponsored by the Circus Hotel Casinos, and goes very wide with Chip Hanauer at the wheel as they come down to complete lap number 3. John Lynch the speed.
133.630.
And it is a 4.5-second lead as they come down toward you, Dick Crippen.
Budweiser still holding beautifully. Tommy Deeth out of Fairhaven, Michigan. He has had himself a day. He was kind of rough getting here. Now Chip Hanauer really has the high-flying Circus. The pink boat literally out of the water as he comes barreling down into the turn. He sees the rooster tail now, the heavy part of the rooster tail, just about 2 boat lengths ahead of him, which means that Deeth has about a 9 to 10 boat length lead. Circus is trying hard, and the Vantage Ultra is just breaking apart out there. All sorts of things happening to that boat, and I don't even know how he's keeping the speed up the way he is.
A 3-second lead, if you will, Dick. 3-second lead for Budweiser now as the Circus comes on the outside, charging up high and starts to get into the rooster tail of Miss Budweiser on the hook. First place is Miss Budweiser. Second place, Circus. Third to Mr. Pringles. Fourth to the Vantage Ultra. And we've got a rattle going right now as the Budweiser went wide. The Circus dove inside the tail, And it's down a 2-second lead for Miss Budweiser.
128.847 for the Bud, 133.2 for Circus.
And this should be the last lap if we counted right. This should be the final lap. Down to you, Dick.
Tommy Deeth now has sensed that he's got problems on his tail. He knows that the Circus is closing him. Again, Chip Hanauer's moved to the outside, and he is trying to get him on the outside of the turn, taking more water as he goes, but he rides right on the brim of the rooster tail. Chip Hanauer is closing it down now to about 4 boat lengths. Tommy Deeth is trying to accelerate, coming down the back stretch. Meanwhile, Hanauer hits his accelerator, and he's going strong.
First place, Miss Budweiser. Second place by only a second is the Circus. They come down the back chute for the final time. Third is Mr. Pringles. Fourth is the Vantage Ultra. Fifth is the Miss Seco Aviation Fuels. And I don't know, as they come down now, it's almost a side-by-side battle. The checker flag will have to be out unless we miscount it. I can't see a flag on the inside. But they're saying this should be the final lap. It is. It'll be a drag race. Miss Budweiser comes off on the turn. So does the Circus. They're almost side by side. It'll be Budweiser, Circus, Budweiser, Circus, Budweiser, Budweiser, Circus. Bam, bam, just like that. They're coming down to you, Dick.
And as they come down, Tommy Deeth holding that inside lane. Chip Hanauer, I think both of these drivers are taking a great big breath at this point. It was a battle all the way. Chip Hanauer coming in the Circus now. Spray all over the boat. Tommy has elected to go on around the course. Chip Hanauer has really put that boat through its paces, no question about it. A great job at driving. The clown as the emblem ripped off on the back, sponsored just a little bit, but I'll tell you, the big smile on the inside of that cockpit tells a big story. He did a fine job. Tommy Deeth continues around the course.
The question I've got, Dick Crippen, as we'll recap now, Miss Budweiser wins the race. Circus a very close second. Third to Mr. Pringles, fourth to the Vantage Ultra, is what happened to the whole set Miss Madison in the final.
I don't know. We're going to have to try to find out. We did not see the boat even enter into the water down here anyway, and whether he'd already gone out, I don't know. I can't see his position in the pits from where I'm standing right now. But
is he down toward you? I mean, was he in there with the sun and everything?
Miss Madison, 5th place. Seco Aviation Fuels in 6th. Madison is finished, and Seco is about to come across, except it's going dead in the water in the north turn.
I'll tell you one thing, Dick. Whole set Miss Madison, we're so used to seeing that rear engine design with all that spray and the excitement of having the battle between Miss Budweiser and the Circus. Whole set Miss Madison was in the spray several times, and we didn't see her. That boat's going to go places. I only wish she could have been ready so the people, the proud people of a great town like Madison, Indiana, could have had a chance to see her in action.
Well, we're going to head down right now to the pit area. Tommy Deeth is coming in, and he's getting a big round of applause down here from the fans. So we're going to head down and grab you an interview, Jimmy.
Dick?
You've had a great run. What a day.
Well, I'll tell you what, the victory goes to the crew, and Jimmy and I had a little strategy session there. You know, and I'll tell you what, it was great. Miss Budweiser ran super, and I want to thank Bernie Little and Anheuser-Busch for providing me with such equipment. I mean, it's the golden ride.
It was the golden ride. You had good competition out there. Chip was trying to close you down, but you were pulling him.
Well, I just kind of kept him in my mirrors and just ran the hardest race I could, and I'll tell you what, he gave me all I could stand, I'll tell you. But the Miss Budweiser answered every call, and, you know, this is a crew victory because these guys worked over 300 hours to put this boat back together again. You know, after I tore it up on Friday, so this Bud's for the crew.
By virtue of their victory here today, Miss Budweiser takes a 321-point lead in the high point standings for HFC.
So the day ends in Tri-Cities, Washington, on a successful note for at least one team because they are the first team to repeat in 1988. That is the Budweiser, driven by Tommy Deeth.
And the first thing he did when he got to the dock was ask for another flag on his helmet. He wants 2 of them up there. He is really happy. I think this victory even means more to him than the other because the team really had to fight for it, and it was a team effort. He averaged over 133 miles an hour again, proving again what's happening in this sport with the increase of speed, the increase of excitement. It is really ultra high tech. But you know the other thing that was interesting, Holsett Miss Madison coming up in there, she was running pretty strong with those turbines. I'm going to keep an eye on that boat also, see what happens later on.
And like always, Chip Hanauer won't give up. That Circus was only about a fraction of a second off the pace of the checker flag.
That's true. So it continues to be just unbelievable, spectacular racing on water in the unlimited hydroplane.
And we hope you've enjoyed it. From Tri-Cities, Washington, for Dick Crippen, I'm Jim Hendrick. So long.
So the Barnall hitting the throttle down right at the apex.
Oh, I hear him.
Yep.
And when he's out there by himself, he's been known to stuff his foot in it a little bit and have a little fun.
Definitely is. Exit pin to Buffalo Brothers, turn number 4 onto the front stretch.
Watch that rooster tail. He'll kick it.
Solid run. Across the Mosteller start-finish line now.
Well, remember that year when over here Dixon turned a lap north of 100 miles an hour on the clock? He got, he just tipped it over 100 miles per hour as far as the average. So he was kicking it up and running.
Down into All Doors Incorporated turn number 1, but I think now heading to the Lamson pit. So heading back over to our American Radiator pit reporters. Schedule continues as we look deeper into the afternoon. Coming up at 3. Back to racing action with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW Local 112, and the National Electrical Contractors Association. 2.5 stock hydroplane heat number 4. Followed by more vintage action thanks to Corwin Ford at 3:30. Then at 4 o'clock, the Par Lumber H1 Unlimited Hydroplane Heat 1A, followed by Heat 1B at 4:30, also thanks to Par Lumber.
I'm very appreciative of Legends Casino Hotel for putting up the sponsorship for the vintage hydroplanes, bringing back a lot of memories and keeping the rich tradition alive. I was checking the slate for Seafair next week in Seattle. A lot of the classic vintage hydros we've seen over the past couple of years here will be on display at Seafair. I think it's great. Maybe they're on a rotation. I don't know, because I had not seen the Miss Wahoo. I had not seen the Miss Notre Dame. I had seen the Bardoll before. But as far as for Seattle this upcoming week at Seafair, they get to see the Squire Shop, the 77 Atlas Van Lines, which has definitely been here, or maybe we had the 1980 Atlas Van Lines here, the 73 Pay and Pack, and the 1980 Griffin Budweiser. And I believe, and yes, Brad Luce, I did read the material, the Griffin Budweiser is the favorite vintage hydroplane of more than one driver in this field of the 2023 Columbia Cup.
Yeah, that was a questionnaire that got sent out to the we're going to interrupt you here because our Craig West is standing on the dock. He had the same idea I did. He is standing alongside Executive Director David Williams of the Hydroplane and Raceboat Museum. Craig, take it away.
David, tell us about what was going on out there.
Well, basically it was a couple of kids having a whole lot of fun. It took a little while to get the Bardoll started. I think she's cantankerous today. I feel like maybe I've got some bad fuel in it. But it took me about a lap to get going. Once it got going, it ran really good, and we're real happy with it. And the Wahoo looked great. The 58 Bardoll I think we could keep up with the 62 Bardoll if we wanted to, but we're not here to break equipment. We're just here to have fun.
And you did have fun doing it.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
And this is the great part of the racing, is it takes us back really where it all started.
Yeah, this is how it all got going. This is what people remember, is the noise and the exhaust smoke and the rooster tails. So that's our job here, is to remind people where we began.
All right, thanks a lot, Dave.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
David Williams does an incredible amount of work down at the Hydroplane and Raceboat Museum, and you were talking about whether or not the boats were on a rotation. Well, they kind of are. You kind of hit the nail on the head there. The idea is to bring the round nose, shovel nose boats over here one year, and then the next year bring the pickle pork boats over. And the big difference between those two, and the reason you don't want to mix and match those, Craig, we're standing here looking at the 58 Bardoll, and if you look just inside the trailing edge on that left side sponson, you see that little fin hanging down there. That fin's about 5 inches deep. You get those pickle fork boats on there. It's not as big as the one right behind you on the U11, but they've got skid fins that are, that's when the skid fins started to come in, and the fins started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And when they go through the corner with that skid fin, they put a big trough in the corner. And if you had a boat with a skid fin like that, and then a round nose boat like this one, this guy here, the 58 Bardoll, fall in that hole and he would hook and it would not be pretty. So you kind of got to get like boats with like boats.
Yeah, and that's, can we say it's more aerodynamic today?
Oh, it's much more aerodynamic, but it is the same aerodynamics. Those haven't changed over time. They've just learned really how to control the aerodynamics. If you look at the Wahoo and the curvature of the deck, and then look at this 58 Bardol, then go down and look at the 62, you'll see that hull is much flatter. And look at these. Like Chip Hanauer used to say, this is nothing more than a wing with training wheels on it on these new boats, and that's literally what they are. It's all about that Bernoulli principle and how much do you want to lift it up and how much do you want to be able to control it with canard wings and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I think, well, for example, today with the H1s, J. Marco Kelly, his interview, he didn't really say too much. He went a little bit faster, and the question was, what did you do? And he avoided the question. Nobody ever wants to give away a trade secret.
No, they're not going to. This is important. They want to win these things. And yeah, they lost it to an N2 and a fuel flow, and I don't know, maybe drove the boat out in the wrong lane. They learned something. Yeah. And the boat ran really fast, and he loved the boat ride. So maybe that's all they wanted to prove.
Well,
if they could get the yes.
How else can you learn where the line is unless you cross it?
That's exactly right. And there's nothing illegal about turning up the wick and running the N2 higher or shoving some more fuel in it. You can do anything you want. You're not going to lose anything in a test session. So yeah, you're right. How do you know until you cross the line? And by the way, I found a crane here, and I'm in the shade of it.
Well, that's good.
It works well here.
As it moves, you will continue to increase your step count.
And by the end of the day, I'll be down by Bernie's tree.
There you go.
That'll work well. So we got our vintage boats, 3 of them or 2 of them back to the dock. The 58 Bardol's up on the trailer. Craig, I look over that little hill there by the pump house. I see a bunch of lids up. Our 2.5-liter stock hydroplanes are going into the water if they are not already in. So I'm going to start making my way back up there. That's next up on the schedule. We're going to go racing.
Let's do it. Thanks to the IBEW Local 112 and the National Electrical Contractors Association. 2.5 stock hydroplane heat number 4 is coming up next on our schedule. More action coming up from the 2023 Columbia Cup and STCU Over the River Air Show on 610 KONA at 610KONA.com. Take a little time, studio. Thank you. Crow's Nest, Clover Island Inn broadcast suite here at the Brutzman's Memorial Barge. We're at the Mosteller Memorial Start Finish Line, and Aaron Stevens, the race director, joining us. And congratulations on a great event. This has been a whole lot of fun, a whole lot of good racing so far.
Yes, it has. I really appreciate you guys being out here and helping us out. We couldn't do this without our community, and we couldn't do this without all of our volunteers.
How many people does it take? When do you start for next year when this is completed on Sunday afternoon?
I start on Monday.
Yeah?
Yep.
No rest?
No rest. This is a year-long event for me.
And how many people on the crew? I mean, we're talking about the board. There's so many different levels of people that lend a hand.
Yeah, I'd say there's probably 1,000 to 1,500 to maybe 2,000 volunteers that are down here this weekend on both sides of the river.
Isn't that an amazing number?
Yes.
And you say volunteers, and that means the time is something they want to give to keep this event going.
Yes, we all donate our time, even myself.
As race director, what's the most challenging portion of putting this together?
You know, I try to get all my ducks in the row before the weekend is here, but every day we deal with something that, whether it's something that pit ops has something that they need help with, or water ops has an issue that they need help with, or just landside, the air show. So I'm busy doing everything, and I got to say though, right now I'm still on schedule.
Talking with race director Aaron Stevens here on 610 KONA and 610KONA.com. For the fans, this is such a huge event, and that's why they come flocking back. It's a natural spot to enjoy hydroplane racing here on the Columbia River. It's just the perfect stadium setting for racing.
Yes, it really is. This is one of the only race courses where we have 365 degrees around the race course that we control for everybody. So we able to sell tickets on the Pasco side, the Kennewick side. I got the U.S. Coast Guard out here. I appreciate them holding my lines from boaters upriver and downriver.
Franklin County Sheriff, Benton County Sheriff,
Walla Walla County.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, even Walla Walla.
Walla Walla County,
Nice.
Yakima County's here.
That's awesome. And, you know, earlier there was more boats out on the upstream side. It looks like they've kind of moved over towards the Kennewick shoreline a little bit. There's quite a gathering of boats out here, more than we've seen in years past.
Yes, I really do think that. You know, I'm amazed with this is Saturdays, and so everything has been a wonderful Saturday. This is good numbers.
It is
good numbers
and good weather
and great weather.
Excellent. Aaron Stevens, race director, thank you for joining me up here.
Thank you, Michael.
Appreciate it. And for all that you do and all of your volunteers, well done.
Thank you.
We get ready for more racing action as the 2.5 liters will be joining us out on the river shortly. We're at 5 minutes and 30 seconds until the start of our next heat number 4 for the 2.5 liters. And again, thanks to the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 112, National Electrical Contractors Association. It's time to go racing, and joining me here, Jeff Ayler.
Michael, good afternoon once again. We are approaching the 5-minute period for heat number 4 of the 2.5 stocks. 3, 2, 1, mark. 5-minute period in session for the 2.5 stocks. And Michael, our last heat earlier this afternoon in 2.5 stock, it was fun, dramatic, some shenanigans, so to say. And in the end, Gunnar O'Farrell was the winner in the monkey business.
Yeah. Unfortunate, though, Jason Aslaxon
Oh.
had the problem in the black and orange 77 boat, right?
Yes.
That was a tough one.
That was a tough break
He
for
had the
Jason.
lead.
He had the lead and went dead in the water in the infield prior to entering turn number 1. And the boat right now in our monitor, courtesy of H1 Unlimited, Kyle Davenport in this red number 6 had a beautiful start in heat number 3, but he got the disqualification for pinching Gunnar O'Farrell exiting turn number 2, coming down to the white flag. And Michael, if Kyle would have left Gunnar or Lane in there, I think that red boat would have won the last heat.
Well, those that have been to the Richland Regatta know that Kyle Davenport has a fast boat, and he's a really good driver.
I've not met Kyle. I think he's relatively young. He's new to this, I think.
And he is in the bright red boat that's coming across the Mosteller Memorial start-finish line now. Up in turn number 2 at the apex is the bright yellow boat. That's Gunnar O'Farrell in the 12 monkey business. The orange and white boat is Jetson Burnett, the 225 on the inside. And on the outside, is that Bernard in the 1? No, that's a blue boat. So it should be Jacob Malden.
Yeah. Here's Jay Dethridge by the start-finish line buoy. Crazy Eights, followed by Justin Burnett. There's Jacob Malden, and there's the boat that was winning early on in Heat 3 but went dead in the water. But it's good to see Oslakson back on the race course in 77.
Did we happen to find out what the problem was that caused him to go to the infield and lose power?
No, I do not, Michael. I did not make my way to the pits before coming back with you here for this heat. And but the good news is they're running, so hopefully it was an easy fix and repair. But I look up, and I don't see Jeff Bernard.
No, that's just it. I haven't seen the one back out on the course. Anybody down in the pits? Did Jeff Bernard answer the call?
I thought he came out. I will go check. I'll come right back at you.
Scanning.
Thank you, Brad.
Is he already parked and start? No. A little early.
Well, you bring up a good point.
Yeah.
And I'm looking.
I don't see it.
We see Davenport. He's already going down on plane in the park and start. Behind him, creeping, is Burnett. Now Malden will join them as well. Now Davenport picks it back up, Michael. So it might be a cat and mouse game here between Davenport and O'Farrell in this heat number 4 if Bernard is not a starter. Now, who is that craft behind? That is Oslakson.
Yeah, in the 77, excuse me.
Yeah, Bernard's on the trailer.
All right, so Jeff Bernard did not answer the call in the 1.
Boy, that's a tough break. And here's some big points for drivers in this one right here.
Davenport in lane number 1. O'Farrell in lane number 2. Oslakson in lane number 3. Quite a slow start on the far side at 1 minute and 25 seconds.
It's the trolling activity in the 2.5 stock category with the American Powerboat Association. So, Michael, you called it correctly. Right now it looks like Davenport, then O'Farrell, and Oslakson, but you have to have your lane established prior to the exit pin at turn number 2. These lanes aren't set just yet.
Out behind the 3 boats is Jetson Burnett in the orange and white 225, and then the white and blue craft with Malden, the 311. And then on the way outside is the turquoise boat with Dethridge. So the inside belongs to Davenport, at least for now, with 45 seconds until the start of heat number 4. Thanks to the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 112 and the National Electrical Contractors Association, 2.5 stock racing. So Davenport on the inside, O'Farrell in lane number 2. Those are the 2 that had the tight call. Davenport ended up having the lane infraction in the last heat.
And now they're flip-flop compared to the last heat in lanes.
Oslakson in 3. As they come to the exit pin of turn number 2, the clock down to 13 seconds, and now they start to spool up. On the inside, it's Davenport. Oh, falling off the pace is Gunnar O'Farrell in the 12. He's way behind now. With boat speed on the outside, it's the Dethridge entry, the turquoise number 8. Boats are headed down the front stretch, and our start is under review. The 8 could have been a little bit early. Davenport with the lead in the bright red boat in lane number 1, but poking on the outside in lane number 3 is Oslakson in the 77.
And O'Farrell is spun out. He is dead in the water, but Michael, some dramatics here. We got a deck-to-deck battle between Davenport and Oslakson. We could have all these boats jump the gun. This is big for O'Farrell. If that happened, if he restarts, he would be your leader, but we'll call it physically.
Right now, the race leader on the outside is the 77 black and orange boat with Jason Oslakson. Davenport on the inside. He'll have the quicker trip around in the inside lane. Third place out on the race course, at least for now, is Jay Dethridge in the turquoise 8. Boy, a great run by the double 7. Look at Oslakson in lane number 2. Ooh, a little bit of rough water at the exit pin onto the front stretch.
Michael,
and Davenport has fallen off a plane.
We got a red flag, and I was getting ready to mention that. Gunnar O'Farrell is in a terrible position, dead in the water in turn number 1. And my kudos to Chaz Dodge, the APBA inboard chief referee. This is the right decision to make. You can see with our cameras, that boat is parked in lane number 3. Spotters or not, drivers coming in there at 100 miles per hour. Better to be safe than sorry, but we had a good one brewing.
It's unfortunate because O'Farrell's boat is just at the entrance pin of turn number 1. And that is not where you want to be for safety's sake, especially when you've got 5 boats that are still remaining out in the field. So boats are starting up again, probably to head back to the pits, and this will force a schedule change as we'll get back to racing with the 2.5 liters. They'll have to pull a restart, which is unfortunate. You know, you look at how well the 2 liters Osloskin was doing along with O'Farrell. That was a great race shaping up.
Boy, O'Farrell hit some rough water, and I caught it out of the corner of my right eye with the peripheral vision, and he hooked violently, and we see a beautiful shot of Justin Burnett's boat with H1 Unlimited going back to the pit dock. And, Michael, the procedure after a red flag, the black flag was thrown immediately, and that indicated to our other pilots you can restart and go back into the pit area in a safe and orderly fashion.
Yeah, so black flag is out. Red flag came out because of the problem with O'Farrell's boat stuck in lane number 3 at the entrance pin to turn number 1.
And Tana is Johnny on the spot. These 2.5 stock boats, Michael, we can refuel them right in the water, and I think we'll go right back out pretty quick, as the 12 obviously is not eligible because they brought out the red flag, and by the rules and regulations of the sport, they would be an ineligible starter for the restart of heat number 4. And the penalties also, too, go away from that original start with numerous gun jumpers. We didn't get the word on how many, but it doesn't matter now. O'Farrell won't be able to run, but we'll come back to heat number 4 with the ones that were out here. They'll refuel, and I think we'll get back to activity pretty quick.
Yeah, it would seem that getting information now that most of the starts were legal at the beginning.
Okay.
So that doesn't seem to be the problem. Yep. Okay, so the 6 were legal, the 12 was legal.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Tanner. But Osloskin, Davenport, the opportunity to put major points on the board here, the 2.5 liter. Unfortunately, they'll have to go back to the pits. We'll get some more fuel, and we'll come back out and race them again.
You know what I'm going to do when I get back to the pits after I conclude with you here this afternoon? I'm going to go up to boat number 6 in 2.5 stock, and I want to meet this Kyle Davenport. He's good.
Yeah, he is. He is. That was a great start. So we will take a timeout as the boats head back to the Neil F. Lamson pits. Do want to hear from our pit reporters Craig West, Brad Luce down there right now, and get some reaction if we can, if anybody can get any information about what may have happened to Gunnar O'Farrell. Obviously, the water was definitely rough with all of the boats entering turn number 1 virtually at the same time, and he hooked and lost power. So we'll take a timeout. We'll have more coverage coming up from the Columbia Cup and STCU Over the River Air Show next on 610 KONA and 610KONA.com. from the Crow's Nest Broadcasting Suite, thanks to Clover Island Inn, welcome back to the Columbia Cup and STCU Over the River Air Show. Unfortunately for our heat of action, the IBEW Local 112 National Electrical Contractors Association 2.5 liters, we had a boat that hooked in the corner. That was the 12 Monkey Business Gunner O'Farrell, and that caused a red flag situation. So the boats went back to the pit area to fuel up if necessary, and we will be starting the clock back up here momentarily, Jeff Ayler, as we get ready to bring them back out. Now, Jeff Bernard, who did not start, along with John Gibney in the 44, did not start. They don't get extra time. They cannot join the field for this. They didn't make it originally. For the 12 rather, with Gunnar O'Farrell, because he caused the red flag, he will not be able to come back out.
Correct.
Yeah, and a quick update there. I did talk to Justin Weymouth coming down here with regards to Jeff Bernard's ride. They broke a couple rocker arms on the motor. So he said just doing to over revving the motor and a smaller propeller. They got some work to do, but they'll be ready to go tomorrow morning.
And Brad, yesterday I believe you reported they only brought one Ford engine with them, so this one is fixable by what you just reported.
That's the way it was put to me. Justin said, yep, we'll be, we got some work to do, but we'll be ready to go tomorrow.
That's a lot of work. And our tech report's brought to you by All City Transmission, serving Tri-Cities with the best in auto repair and transmission care at affordable prices. Visit them at allcitytrans.com.
And with regards to Gunnar O'Farrell, Craig, you came down here, so did I. We were going to talk to the young man when he got his boat back to the dock. What did you learn?
Well, the boat is off. And I don't believe it's a boat issue. I think it may be a driver issue, and he's back in medical right now.
Yeah, they're following some protocol here. He came back on the boat, and I don't know how close you watched it, but the H1 Unlimited rescue boat did go to Gunnar after they had shut the heat down. He quickly exited the boat after the spin, and I'm saying spin. He was on an inside lane. I did not see it, kind of like you, Jeff, but there was a big splash, and the type of splash you see when a boat hooks violently to the left. But he popped the canopy really quick, and he was out on the deck when the H1 rescue sled got to him. They had a conversation, and the sled left without Gunnar O'Farrell. He stayed with his race boat. They brought the boat back to the dock here, and as a good 2.5 liter stock driver normally does and usually does, he waited until the crane got down. He hooked his boat up on the crane, told the crane operator start lifting it up. He stepped off on the dock, but waiting for him was Kathy Spry of H1 Unlimited and said, nope, you're coming with me. So it's just a protocol. They're checking him out. He's fine. He put the boat on the crane, got it out of here, walked over to medical, and everything looks fine.
And Brad, I think you agree with me. That was one of those incidents. He got there last. And when you get there last and you get in that rough water, it kind of hooked and crabbed to the left. It was a violent stop. That's where the safety capsule comes in play, not getting pitched out. But you can get your bell rung in there, lose your bearings for a moment with that hard impact.
Yeah, you certainly can. And Craig was right. We were both standing here on the ramp that comes up from the dock up to the back of the pit area, and the boat went not directly over us, but it was very close. I've got Craig being sure he's not stepping underneath any of the boats. I've seen about 3 or 4 Unlimiteds come tumbling down, so you don't get underneath a boat. But the boat looked fine. I mean, as far as propeller, rudder, skid fin, and the running surfaces of the sponsons and so forth, the boat looked okay. So I think they're probably all right. Just Gunnar may have got his bell rung, to your point, Jeff. But he walked down there, so I'm sure he'll be fine. When he gets back, we'll stuff a microphone in his face because he just loves that so much.
He might want to just stay in medical.
He goes, is that loose character out there? I don't want to see him. Who's that other guy? What's he doing with a mic? Yeah, we'll have
Great
fun
update from our American Radiator pit reporters, Craig West and Brad Luce. Thank you so much for being down there all day.
You kidding? You can't get me out of here with a crowbar. This is fun. This is where it all happens.
We got a big crane, though.
Well, that's true. That's true. We had Ayler down here yesterday, and we talked about it last night. And I said, Jeff, I've always wanted to have you down here on this dock when we got a bunch of Unlimiteds coming and going. And it is organized chaos on the dock, but it is some kind of fun. And we had a good time yesterday. Jeffy, it was good having you down here on the big dock with the big boats.
Oh, I enjoyed it. Had the time of my life. And what a wonderful experience it was for myself yesterday to be on the dock with you in the Neil F. Lamson pit area and unlimited hydroplanes here, there, and everywhere. Jeff Ayler was in heaven.
Well, and you guys are going, oh, come on, Ayler, Lewis, you guys have been doing this for 130 years. You guys have done probably everything. No, that was the first time Jeffy was down on the dock with me. That was the first time we did it.
Here?
Well, anywhere.
Oh, that's true. You usually are at separate locations.
We're in separate locations, and then the way the docks lay out and so forth. So in Guntersville, the pit area is 6 counties away, and in Madison, we're on a tower up above. I mean, it just never has worked out to where Jeff got to come and be a part of my favorite part in the whole state of Washington, which is this dock. That's my dock down there, Craig.
And I wanted to mention, too, Kyle Davenport that Jeff was talking about, and had dealt with him at a couple of races down in the Richland Regatta. I think you'd really enjoy meeting him. He's a fun guy.
And a good racer.
I plan to do that.
Extremely fast race boat and very talented race driver.
Guys, kind of fun down here right now because you look at the H1 Unlimiteds right now, which is kind of where we are, and there's slings laying on the top of many of them. The crews they've been sitting back over between the trucks. Nobody is thrashing by any stretch of the imagination. They're ready to go. I know we all are.
A little bit of quiet confidence ahead of the amazing sight and sound that we'll hear with the H1 Unlimiteds coming up at 4 and 4:30 with Heat 1A and Heat 1B, thanks to Par Lumber.
And we're 3 minutes and 40 seconds until the start. We're inside 1 minute to the 3-minute period for the restart of 2.5 stock, Heat 4.
And I look up that way. We're way down at the other end, but I look, we still got lids up on a couple of the boats. Walk that way, just make sure everybody is getting ready. The boat, noses are starting to tip out. You're going to have them out here shortly.
Well, they need to be. The clock's at 3:14.
That would make sense to me.
And once it hits at 3 minutes, that's when they're eligible to put that finger on the starter button, and we hope to hear the crank 'em up sound right now.
You got 1, 2, 3, pointing to the middle of the river. There we go. That Davenport character jumps up, he's gone.
I like this kid.
He's fast and fast out of the Lamson pits. Thanks again to our American Radiator pit reporters. Since 1979, they've been keeping you cool. American Radiator, free pickup and delivery, new, rebuilt, record radiators all across the Northwest, and they clean your DPFs and DOCs, welding and metal fabrication jobs too. All at AmericanRadiator.com. So Davenport quick out of the pits, but slow over by our tire factory tower and AJ and Pasco side.
Yeah, we just lost. Which one is the white boat? It cut off to the right. It was coming out with the rest of the crew. And
white with the blue trim, Malden and the 311.
Yeah, I think it was the second boat that came out right behind the Davenport. It lost power and is off plane.
But remember, it's a 3-minute clock, and this will be a different starting sequence, so the park and start will begin pretty quickly here instead of the 5-minute period.
Yeah, you're right. It has to. But unfortunately for the 311 with Malden, off a plane. You know, the other boat that was impressive out there, the turquoise boat, the 8, with Jade Deathridge. And there she is up the backstretch already, maybe coming around with 1:33 on the clock.
Yeah, right now, Jade's position and way her boat momentum looks, I think she'll come around. And right now, Michael, by the way it looks, depending on the number of legal starters we have here, Jade should have a pretty good performance, could pick up a podium finish here in this 4th heat at 2.5 liter.
Well, wouldn't that be something considering the way that all started this weekend?
Yes.
I met Jade last year, and she was incredibly nice and down to earth and very fun down at the pits last year.
So Jade Deathridge in the 8, heading into turn number 1 now. Up the backstretch, yep, Davenport wants lane number 1 in that bright red boat. The challenger is going to be the 77 with Jason Osloskin in the black and orange 77 on the outside of Davenport and the Bright Red 6.
Well, Jade's podium finish will probably be realistic because it looks like we're only going to have 3 answer the call. So
that's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. So with 30 seconds left until the start, Michael McDonald bring him to the green flag for 2.5 liter, heat number 4.
Well, it's going to be a little bit here with the park and start. They'll make it around. Still 19 seconds. With about 15 seconds left, right past the apex, they'll start to hit the throttle. So here we go. And look at on the outside with boat speed. Can she hit the start just right? It might be. Here we go with the clock down to 3, 2, 1. Mark. It is a very clean start with Davenport in lane 1. Osloskin in lane number 2. On the outside, Dethridge. Dethridge has the boat speed on the outside. It is a legal start. Here comes the race, though. Osloskin on the outside. Davenport on the inside as they get to turn number 1.
Deck-to-deck dueling in turn number 1. The start was legal, but Kyle Davenport with the advantage on the inside. But Osloskin is there hidden in the rooster tail. Jay Dethridge had that beautiful start in third. Off the turn, 1, 2, 3, Davenport, Osloskin, and Dethridge.
So Davenport on the inside with the race lead heading up the Griggs backstretch. Davenport had lane number 1 in the first timeout. But unfortunately, because of the hook by O'Farrell and the yellow 12 monkey business, we had to do the rerun. About a half a rooster tail lead right now, and it'll be the shorter course around for Davenport on the inside. River conditions are extremely good right now. There's a little bit of a riffle on the river because the breeze has picked up across the course. And Davenport extending the lead a little bit, of almost an full rooster tail now at the exit pin of turn number 2 onto the front stretch. Can Osloskin pull him back in as they come down the front stretch to turn number 1?
Boy, Davenport's boat looks similar in colors to the Beacon Electric. He's flying it like J. Michael Kelly, but it's Kyle Davenport leading here in heat number 4, 2.5 stock. Jason Osloskin remains in second. Jay Dethridge in third at the apex, and Michael McDonald, you and Craig West have seen this youngster race numerous times, and he's one to watch in the future. Now a rooster tail in front.
You know, it looked like Osloskin was picking up a little bit of ground heading through turn number 1 near the apex, but falling back on the backstretch now as we get ready to complete lap number 2. It's Davenport's race to win right now. And that's when everything starts to sound a little bit off when you're in the cockpit and you have the lead. You feel a vibration that isn't there. We've heard this before from the drivers. So Davenport on the inside. Can Osloskin make another charge in the 77 in the black and orange boat? Not right now. Davenport with a rooster tail and a half lead at the exit pin onto the front stretch. One more lap to go. The white flag is out for heat number 4. Thanks to the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 112 and the National Contractors Association. It's heat 4 for the 2.5 liters, and now a 2 rooster tail lead for Davenport down the front stretch. 2 more turns to go.
Boy, Davenport keeping the hammer down, working into turn number 1. Michael, there's some reasons for that. Even though his lead is comfortable, you want to keep the hammer down, work that boat above the water, because you slow down, you can get beat up. And Kyle Davenport right now, smooth sailing with Osloskin in second, Jay Dethridge in the third position. The top 3 working their final time around. 1/2 a lap to go for Davenport in front.
Yeah, that final turn number 1 and lap number 3, it was rough water on the inside, and that's where Osloskin moved over to shorten up the course to try to catch Davenport, and he hopped out of the water. Maintained it though, but he'll finish at second place. 2 rooster tails, maybe 3 rooster tails now behind Davenport. Here comes Davenport, final turn around the top end, onto the front stretch. Kyle Davenport in the bright red 6, 2.5 liter. Checkered flag is out, and heat number 4 goes to Davenport. Osloskin takes second. Jay Dethridge just getting to the exit pin of the top end turn onto the front stretch now will take third place points, and those are huge for Jade.
Oh, beautiful run for Jade, and I know she'll be so happy coming back to APBA inboard hydroplane racing after an unfortunate automobile accident 2.5 years ago. And a third place right now for Jade Dethridge is a win. She'll take those points. And Michael, the confidence of Kyle Davenport, even though it was a 3-boat heat, lane number 1, got the win. as we come up on that 2.5 stock final tomorrow afternoon, this red boat is in the mix.
No doubt. The big question is the boat that wasn't out here that was on the trailer.
Is in the mix.
Yeah. Well, they've got some work to do.
Yeah.
They have some work to do for Jeff Bernard's boat, the one. Silver Cloud, Strong Racing. That's going to be interesting to see what happens with how much thrashing they have to do.
Well, right now, after 4 heats, and Michael, I think you'll agree with me, no doubt on paper going into this final heat, Jeff Bernard needs the rocker arms fixed in his boat. I think Gunnar O'Farrell will be okay with the monkey business from the reports we're getting from Brad Luce and Craig West in the pit area. We got to throw Oslaughson in there and Davenport. Right now, by my calculations, you've got 1 of 4 drivers eligible to win in 2.5 stock here in the Tri-Cities.
Great competition. But will Davenport have the confidence to nudge in there and try to claim lane number 1 away from Bernard if Bernard gets that number 1 boat back off the trailer?
Hey, guys. You mentioned Gunnar O'Farrell. So I missed that heat of competition we just had, and I was able to catch up with the young man as he came back from medical. I said, you okay? Oh, yeah. He said, everything's fine. He said, it was a call. They wanted to talk to me and make sure I was all right. And I said, well, I watched you sling a boat, so I knew you were. I said, but I got to start with that question. I said, but now, what in the world happened? I said, you were inside of another boat down here as you got to the corner. And I said, and I saw a big splash. And he goes, oh, I spun. And he said, I spun really hard. And he goes, patrol boats on the inside of the course were telling him he went around twice. Ooh. And I'm going, geez, kind of a helicopter thing, huh? And he goes, yeah. And I said, you bang your head at all? And he goes, no, you know, you've got the supports in there. And I said, so you're fine? He goes, yeah. He said, I'm just hoping somebody's got video. So anyway.
Wants to see that one.
Yes. And that which Gunnar O'Farrell was the happiest about was the fact that I didn't have the microphone turned on and I had it sticking out of my pocket. I think he was happy he didn't have to talk on a mic.
There you go.
He's a good kid, but he's fine. He's fine, and he says he thinks the boat's okay. He was going to go take a look at it, but I think he's all right.
Yeah, if you had the microphone out, he may have said, oh, no, I'm not feeling very good.
I said, you just had to get center stage somehow, didn't you? And he goes, yeah.
That's
He said,
good.
I'm learning. I said, you are indeed, young man.
Special thanks on our broadcast to our friends at our Shell Sun Market stores.
This is a beaming Kyle Davenport. I guess they're calling you young, huh?
I got family watching on TV, and they keep calling me youngster, and if 52 qualifies me as a youngster, boy, I'll take it.
I'll take that at 52. I've got you by a few years. But anyway, great race for you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, the Pasco machine, Bosgos Bantam's really rolling right now. I'd like to thank KB Marine and Blockhead Machine, as well as Orca Scuba Center out of Wenatchee, Washington, for providing my air. I mean, without those guys, I wouldn't be able to do anything. And finally, I've had some bad luck here. You know, I've come across the finish line first a couple times, only to find out afterwards that I've had some bad luck strike. And so to break through on what I consider my home course, this is my Yankee Stadium. It's a dream 45 years in the making to get my first heat win. That's why I'm beaming.
Your home base is?
I live in Kashmir, but I was born in Kennewick, and my father was the head rescue diver here. Well, not the entire time. He was a rescue diver from 1966 to 79 for the water follies. For the last few years, he was head rescue diver. So as a 6-7-year-old in the pits here, this is a dream 45 years in the making for me to be able to race in the shadow of the Blue Bridge and to get a win. I mean, how cool is that?
Oh, it's got to be cool. You've had good success, though. You've had some success at the regatta here.
The Richmond Regatta, yeah. It's a very challenging course, and I think that my boat seems to handle the rough water well. Thank you, Kip Brown, for helping me get everything set up. That's KB Marine, by the way. And I've had some success. I got my very first win ever at the Richmond Regatta. So, yeah, I love coming to the Tri-Cities.
All right. Well, thanks for the time. Congratulations. Great run.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, gentlemen, it's all yours.
Greg West, American Radiator Pit Reporter. We'll take a timeout and come back with some vintage coverage, and we count down to more racing action, right? 4 p.m. Par Lumber H1 Unlimited Hydroplane Heat 1A. 4:30 p.m. It is Heat 1B presented by Par Lumber. It's all coming up on 610 KONA and 610KONA.com.
Lynn Runny is a guy who has not raced on the Columbia River with 4 boats. The guy is 29 years old, and he's won 11 titles in his young career. It is going to be fascinating to see how he navigates this sort of experience because, let's face it, he's never raced here before under conditions where you got 3 other boats doing the same thing that you're doing.
Yeah, I agree with you. That being said, at Madison, Indiana, that setup is even more demanding, I think. And he has been there with multiple boats.
So the racetrack in Alabama, is that more like here, more of a super speedway?
So it's even more of a super speedway because they kind of stretch the corners out. It's almost like it's nearly round. I mean, it was a completely different looking course.
So that's
and Brad talked about this a lot from Guntersville, and that's why we were getting a 171 mile an hour speed out of Guntersville.
Right.
It wasn't just because the water's faster. The course design allowed that to happen.
With only 1 of 4 gentlemen have ever cracked officially the 170 barrier, and our guy did it 171, right?
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So as we gear up for Heat 1A, thanks to Par Lumber, we will take a timeout and come back with the countdown next. It is the 2023 Columbia Cup and STCU Over the River Air Show. Our coverage on 610 KONA thanks to Golf Universe, along with Firehouse Subs and your Shell Sun Market stores, continues on KONA next. I'll be back shortly. En route traffic watch continues. Very light traffic, actually, 395 southbound over the Blue Bridge right now. It will be difficult, though, when we get the boats out there racing to not look over.
I think I've only been under that influence one time.
It's hard not to look over.
I challenge you not to.
Don't do it.
I know you're not supposed to, but it's one of those things. Can I give them okay? You can snatch a peek, but don't gawk.
No,
it's like mirror signal head check. You know, I mean, for literally, if you're going to do the head check, you have to take your eyes off the road for a split second. I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's okay just to dart your eyes over for a quick peeky poo and then back to the road at 10 and 2, mister.
We don't recommend that.
What?
During the air show, I had to go run some errands, and on 240, while the air show was going, there was probably 10 people pulled over
to watch. Oh, that's not good.
On the freeway, which I thought was interesting. It looked like a cop had pulled over a whole bunch of people, and then I saw a cop up ahead, and he was outside of his car watching the air show.
Yeah, AJ, you made a good point, though. The police will be busy right after the park empties out, starts to empty out here.
Sure.
Really busy.
So park, too.
Be smart. Be smart.
Be smart.
Uber, taxi, call a ride, especially if you've been drinking.
Rad Cab is in the park. Hey, thanks to Canyon Lakes Golf Course providing our onshore transportation. Why play the rest when you can play the best? Also, thanks to Columbia Basin Paper and Supply. They've been delivering quality janitorial products, reliable service to the Tri-Cities. 76 years, 515 West Columbia Street in Pasco, and they bring it to you. Also, Paulo Heat and Air. Turn to the experts. Paulo and Carrier keeping you cool this summer. You can call Apollo 987-1500 or online at apolloheatingandair.com. Also, thanks to Golf Universe, #1 location for Tri-Cities for golfers. New equipment arriving all the time, and you can try it right there at their driving range, and they'll help you with custom fitting. It's really the experience at Golf Universe that makes it so much more enjoyable. On-site club repair and more. Had my club re-gripped.
Can I jump in about Golf Universe, because it's always been where golfers shop and save? And is it just me, or is their inventory not only off the chart, but the shoes? Life, like Cliff Clavin said on the last episode of Cheers, life is about comfortable footwear. So when you're golfing, if you don't have good golf shoes, you're not going to fully experience the joy of the round. So Golf Universe has a fabulous shoe collection. Highly endorse it. Got me a pair of Skechers Golfs. Swear by them. Love them.
That's where the foundation of your swing begins. Your shoes.
With the shoes. Not the stance.
Golf Universe.
Golfers shop and save.
Firehouse Subs, ladder up to big, bold flavor with Firehouse Subs. Try their new Smokin' Triple Stack. It may be the most meat on any sandwich they've ever had. Founded by firemen, a portion of proceeds goes to first responders in our area. Kurt?
Yes?
Oh, did you have anything to add? I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, am I not allowed to jump in and tout the amenities of our sponsors?
Please do. That's...
Buy the brisket. That's the sandwich.
There you go.
Thanks, AJ.
That's the sandwich.
So the triple stack has brisket, ham, and turkey.
He's the save the day AJ. I was talking with Tana, who, gosh, she does a great job.
Tana Morissette.
Just
husband Mike, both working with H1.
You know, it's Tana. You ought to know Morissette. It's a jagged little pill riff. Anyway, 3 laps in 1A. 3 laps for sure. It's
yes.
In case there was. So she gives me a thing, 1A, 3 laps, so I figured I'd pass it on.
And Brad Luce down in the pits, our American Radiator pit reporter, we had been using previously, right, since 2015, the Gold Cup format, which included 4 preliminary heats of 4 laps and then a 5-lap final.
That's correct.
Not this time.
Not this time. We're running just a regular race format with 3 sections of heats, 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B, and then our winner-take-all final. So, yeah, we're missing that 4th section of heats, which we will see next week on the other side of the mountain in Seattle.
That's right, because it will be the Gold Cup.
It will be the APBA Gold Cup.
Also, thanks to our friends at Farmers Exchange, serving the Tri-Cities over 99 years in historic downtown Kennewick. You know, it's like your locally owned expert lawn and garden advice center, right? Think of it as your own personal lawn and garden coach. And they have one-stop livestock and pet food shopping with Purina, premium feed, and more. Big or small, they feed it all.
Love it.
Online subscription service for your feed, even for your pets. You can log on to www.farmers-exchange.store, and they'll deliver.
a legitimate question for the sponsor, because I have a cat that eats way too much. I can't say no to the meowing, so I'm going to need something that's going to, a lot of bulk, but dial it back as far as the fatty fatso is concerned. Can they help me out, you think?
A kitty treadmill might do the trick.
Ooh, imagine the TikTok and/or viewing I could get on that. I wanted to bring Brad in this because you've been around the sport for a long, long time. Speaking of a long, long time, the H1 drivers, what do they do all day, man? I mean, it's finally time to get to work, but we were riffing before about video games and stuff, but truly, what do the drivers do? Is it family time? When it's time to go racing, do they flip that switch? I'm sure everybody's a little bit different, right?
That's exactly it. That was going to be my answer. You were going to say, they do this, do they do that, do they do this? And the answer is yes. Everybody has a little different ritual, and I think probably the most common ritual that the drivers did all day as we've been waiting all day is it's family time and be with them. But then once it starts to get close, those drivers will find their way down on the dock. They will start getting their minds prepared. A lot of the drivers like to get into the boats early, because once they do, oh my goodness, the lid is already down on Corey Peabody's ride at 6:35 before the start.
Wow.
Yeah, so the lid's down on him, and they're climbing off of the...
Gets warm in there.
Yeah, they're climbing off of the 8 also, but it'll be family time. But then once they get in the cockpit, they want to put that down or stay in the cockpit with it open and talk to their crew chief, and then it is keep the fans and the family away. I got to focus on what I got to do.
10-4.
Thanks on our broadcast to Washington Hardware, helping homeowners, expert advice, personal service, downtown Kennewick. 100 years. Yeah. You open weekdays now, 8:30 in the morning till 1 p.m. Also, the Umatilla County Fair. It's coming up Wednesday, the 9th of August through Saturday, the 12th of August. Wild Horse Resort and Casino main stage. It features Joe Nichols on Friday night. Fantastic. Shoot to Thrill on Thursday. That's the AC/DC tribute band.
It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll, Mike.
And the Farm City Pro Rodeo. That is one of the best in Hermiston, the Umatilla County Fair. And don't forget, there's great entertainment coming to Clover Island on Sunday. The Sawyer Brown Band, an American County band. Actually, the American Honey will be opening. Tickets $35 in advance. Get details now, thunderontheisland.com. That's thunderontheisland.com. And for lodging and more information about a special room package, cloverislandinn.com.
Got a chance to catch the Eagles tribute band there at Thunder on the Island. Not officially, but it was an extra. I love the setup, and when the sun goes down, they got the tents in the shaded area.
It's a great spot for a concert.
They have done a magnificent job.
They've been doing those concerts for 17 years.
Yes, and no matter what the circumstance or situations, man.
So we head down to the pits. We're inside 5 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, we're at 4:43 to the start. First boat away from the dock is the U8, the Beacon Electric, and J. Michael Kelly. He's going to be followed by his teammate Corey Peabody driving the U9, the Beacon Plumbing. Then it's the powder blue and white Miss Home Street with the rookie Dylan Running. And the fourth boat up and away from the dock, the gold, white, and black Goodman Real Estate, the U91 with Andrew Tate. All four up and running. It is Madison Racing versus Strong Racing, 2 of each. This could be fun. We're going to go 3 times around this 2.5-mile race course coming up on 4 minutes and 5 seconds right now.
Fighting for lanes in the milling period to see who has the inside advantage.
I'm curious to see who's been hiding their speed over the last day, and just kind of knowing they have it dialed in, but not letting anybody know.
Cutting across the Esco Electric infield will be Runny in the home street, and Goodman Real Estate boat with Andrew Tate.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch these guys run on the water together, because if you saw the preseason interview with Andrew Tate, they asked him about teammate Dylan Runny, and he's had nothing but good things to say about him and said they had raced together since they were kids, blah, blah, blah. But he really did not like the term teammate, and he made that pretty plain. He says, no, he wears powder blue, and I wear black and gold. And he made it pretty clear. Once they go on the race course, all bets are off. He's going to go out and try and win, and Dylan Runny is just another competitor. Beacon Plumbing, the third boat through the corner down here. Check that Beacon Electric. Then it's the Beacon Plumbing with Corey Peabody. So the boats are spread out a little bit. Andrew Tate going up the backstretch with 250, sitting on the inside lane right now, but a lot can change.
It's kind of better, seeing the way Team Madison both went through the ESCO Electric infield together.
Does the 80-mile-an-hour rule hold for this 2023 Columbia Cup?
Yeah, there's a little change to it, Brad.
Yeah, there is, and it's kind of like what the rule has changed to be. It's that, it's like fishing, and you throw a great big net out over the water. You're going to catch all kinds of things beyond just the fish you were trying to get. And that's not really what the 80-mile-an-hour rule was intended to do. They're trying to catch a specific violation, and that's the one that yields a starting advantage to a team. So this gives the chief referee, Rick Sandstrom, the leeway to do that.
Gotcha. Boats coming out of the turn number 4 for Buffalo Brothers onto the front stretch. It'll be Tate in the Goodman Real Estate onto the front stretch first.
2 minutes.
Home
2 minutes.
Street, Dylan Runny second. Then the bright red Beacon Electric. And boy, really close to the Beacon Plumbing. J. Michael Kelly right next to his teammate there, Corey Peabody. Across the Mosteller start-finish line down to all doors, turn number 1. Anybody jumping across the ESCO infield?
I don't think they can, Mike. We're still a minute 35.
How you doing there, teammate? Get away from me. Don't you know I don't like this? Get away from me now.
Well, those two are deck to deck.
I know.
Peabody and Kelly.
I didn't think they were
electric on the outside, plumbing on the inside.
They were supposed to be all pally, I thought.
It's kind of interesting, actually.
Andrew Tate's up and moving down here a little quicker than I thought. He got down here at 126, and you don't want to be down here at 130, so he was a little before that, and he gave it a little squirt. Right in front of AJ, you got all 4.
1 minute mark.
Goodman in 1. The Goodman Real Estate boat with Tate.
Both Beacon boats still right next to each other.
Yep, and it looks like they'll be in 3 and 4. You've got Runny in lane number 2. Peabody in 3, and Kelly in 4. As they head up the backstretch with 37 seconds.
Now we'll see if those scoring up, and then the testing and then the qualifying, if they're going to hit those marks. 30 seconds.
So, lane number 1, Andrew Tate in the 91, Goodman Real Estate. Lane number 2 will be Dylan Runny in the 1, Miss Home Street. Corey Peabody in the 9, Beacon Plumbing.
15.
In lane number 3, J. Michael Kelly in the Beacon Electric. The 8 in lane number 4 as they come
10
out of turn
7,
number 4.
6,
Buffalo Brothers
5,
on to the
4,
front stretch.
3, 2, 1, mark.
It is a clean start, and the speed is on the outside with J. Michael Kelly in the Beacon Electric heading down to turn number 1 for All Doors Incorporated. It is a legal start.
Yeah,
it is a legal start.
Coming down here 4 wide. J. Michael Kelly really flying the U8, the Beacon Electric. He's got the lead on the outside, but he's got a lot of speed off to his left.
4 boats right next to each other. It looks like the number 1 has the lead right now with Beacon Plumbing and Corey Peabody in second as they come around turn number 2.
Yeah, it is. Nice run by Peabody in first place, heading up the backstretch. The home street with Runny in second place. It'll be a shorter course for Runny. The question is, what will happen with Tate on the inside? Can he catch up as they dive into White's Finished Furniture, turn number 3, and come around to Buffalo Brothers, turn number 4? The leader is going to be the home street at the exit pin with Dylan Runny. Way on the outside, falling back a little bit off the pace is J. Michael Kelly in the Beacon Electric. Here comes your race across start finish. Peabody on the outside, gaining on Runny in the home street on the inside.
It is Runny on the inside. It is Peabody on the outside. And they are side by side as they get to the entrance pin in the corner. They are dead even. Runny on the inside of Corey Peabody, AJ.
Looks like Peabody's got a slight edge, but then...
Ooh, they touched.
Oh, whoa.
They touched.
Look at that. Peabody a slight edge on the outside as they touch on the corner.
They did touch in Tire Factory turn number 2. Peabody's going to pull ahead. Runny's falling back about a half a rooster tail. Goodman's trying to gain on the inside in the 91. The Goodman Real Estate boat with Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate had a terrific turn 4 to stay just inside the buoy marker. He was lost in everybody's rooster tail, but don't count him out. The big G on the inside is still a playa.
Yeah, your race leader is Peabody in the Beacon Plumbing coming across start-finish line.
The U1 needs to run an extra lap.
So the home street needs to run an extra lap. We'll have more details on that. Also hearing the 9 might. Okay, more details coming up. Race leaders Peabody as they come into Tire Factory turn number 2.
The U9 and Peabody way out front, probably 3/4 of a rooster tail right now. Of course, the home street is back down a lap, and then coming in second place is the 8 teammate with the Beacon Electric and J. Michael Kelly.
Yeah, it looks like a parade right now with a rooster tail lead for each boat over the next behind them. In the lead is Peabody. Then you've got Runny, followed by J. Michael Kelly and Andrew Tate as they come to the top turns. White's Finished Furniture into Buffalo Brothers turn number 4 at the exit bin. The final lap, checkered flag is out. Peabody is going to take the checkered flag in the Beacon Plumbing. Second place on the race course is the one home street with Dylan Runny. Third place, look at this, J. Michael Kelly able to get around Andrew Tate in the Goodman Real Estate boat.
Well, that race had a little bit of everything.
Yes. And interesting to see what judges may do about lap number 2 and the boats that touched right over at Tire Factory turn number 2.
And the home street still going around turn 2.
Guys, you have said they touched. Who touched?
Oh, it was Peabody and Runny.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, we didn't know who had done that. So, but there's no precautionary extra lap for Corey Peabody. That is going to be for.
There is.
Well, he didn't take one.
No, it's going to be the one Runny with the extra lap.
Okay, yeah, because Corey's already back to the dock.
Right. You're right, Brad.
Extra precautionary lap, yes.
And from what we could see, it may have been Runny that moved out a little bit.
Well, clearly I would think that's what the officials are thinking, and had there been any question about it, they would have had them both run the extra lap. So I think the fact that Corey was not told to run an extra lap is probably indicative of where they think a possible problem might have been.
So what'd you think, AJ, when started to get loose into the corner? Was it a roller? Was it just driver inattention? What did you see?
It was really tight, 4 boats all the way across. It looked like they were just really close together. I'm not sure who moved into who from my angle, but it was really tight through that corner. And yeah, like Mike said, they bumped.
Good eyes.
So if there's a little paint on a boat, that is going to be on the left sponson of the 9 and the right sponson of the 1, correct? Because Runny was inside Corey.
Right.
I'm just trying to figure out where I got to look here.
Yes.
So, and I'm sorry, guys. It's taken me a minute to get down here. Yeah, I just went by a team member who's going bang, bang with their hands side to side.
610 KONA, Kennewick, Richland, Pasco.
I'm wondering if that is an indication that they're thinking maybe there is some damage there.
Is that code for we hit?
I don't know.
Bump, bump.
So, well, the home street's not back, right? Okay.
Should be back in the area.
Yeah, it's out beyond the dock near the bridge.
Boy, that was some tight racing down there in Lumpy All Doors Incorporated turn number 1 and Tire Factory turn number 2.
Really exciting to see them 4 wide coming around that first and second corner on the first lap.
There's nothing like it on that Pasco shoreline.
Hey, guys, let me jump in here real quick. I got to take a deep breath. That's a long run for me from down here. Corey Peabody, you've been racing.
Yeah, it was a hell of a heat. I'll tell you that right there. It was. I thought those guys were early, the 2 Madison boats, but you know they're all right. But I mean, we had one hell of a heat. I'll tell you that.
That's fun.
For the books. Dylan Runny drove a hell of a race. That was great. We got super close a couple times in this turn down here. What a good time.
Our guys called it that you hit. From your perspective, did you impact the home street or vice versa?
I don't think we actually hit. It was super close. I even radioed to my radio guy. I'm like, we're really close, you know, but I don't think we actually touched. But I mean, if we didn't, it was really close. But what a heat.
Well, that was the first thing I checked when I came down the dock. I was looking for a mark on the side of your boat. I didn't see one.
I didn't see one either. I didn't feel it. You know, what a run by Dylan. You know, all these guys. Damn.
And I know you can't hear it, but we've had this long wait to get this racing on the water today. The crowd up and down the shoreline was going nuts. They were screaming. It was awesome.
I mean, I'm glad we got to put on a good show. We knew this heat was going to be the one that people wanted to see. It's tough on us as racers, you know. You get to stack the best 4 boats together, but that's great for the fans, you know. So that's a great thing. What a heat! I can't stop saying it, you know. It's what a good time.
It was a great show for the fans. You did a terrific job. I want to see that about 5 more times. I don't know if you can handle it, but we're ready. It was great.
I enjoyed myself a lot. So we'll go to the tech truck, make sure it's legal. I mean, that's what it comes down to, always making sure you're legal. But what a really great heat.
And you had a lot of fun.
I had a blast, you know. What a good time. That's what racing's all about. So let's hope we get the 400 points, and we'll go from there.
Corey Peabody, our winner on the water of our Heat 1A, and I think it was a heck of a heat. I heard that once.
Yeah, it was a heck of a heat. That's right. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
All right, Corey Peabody. Oh, my goodness. I think he liked that one. What'd you guys think?
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, now the home street has stopped way short of the pit area, and he's going to get a tow back in. So
Thornworks tow boat's busy again.
So we can't go down and grab him. But man, oh man,
we had a chance to see the overhead video.
Yes, and
we know now that the one has been assessed the penalty for 1 lap for bearing out.
So that's going to move the U8, the Beacon Electric, into second place.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Yep, and that's going to put Andrew Tate into third, and Dylan Runney's going to get dropped back to fourth.
Yeah, with all the drama, we kind of lost that third place, right? And J. Michael Kelly came storming back to pass Andrew Tate in the Goodman Real Estate boat to claim third place. But now J. Michael Kelly jumps into second place because of the bearing out penalty.
Yeah, Andrew Tate, he had his hands full. He had boats. He was on an inside lane, but he was a little bit late at the start, so that made it a little bit difficult for him. J. Michael Kelly showed me an awful lot in the bright red Beacon Electric. He was on the far outside, but the boat was really hooked up and running. He drove hard, and he did get around the boat in lane 1. That was Andrew Tate, and when you do that, and you're doing it in lane 4, you're driving a mighty, mighty big race course. So at least right now, on the water, that was a good heat for Strong Racing. Looks like they'll finish 1-2. But again, everything is unofficial. Got to go through tech inspection, guys.
And J. Michael Kelly, just what the doctor ordered, just enough air under that right sponson. He's the guy that just absolutely schnockered at that start finish. He was easily a half a boat length ahead of his nearest competitor. And I think there was about 3/4 to a second to spare. Always appreciated, Brad. Hey, catch your breath, will you? You know, just deep breaths. We're going to get to it.
I thought he had a cart.
We're all digesting. I don't know. I'm still lobbying for the Kennewick Police Escort. I mean, I know there's plenty of them down here.
I think they're probably busy.
I tried that earlier. It's like, wasn't interested.
Well, that was one competitive heat of racing out there, and I think we all expected that from both of the racing teams.
You know, I wanted to mention something as Brad did the interview, was the adrenaline that was running through Corey. It was incredible. And I thought he was going to go right through the dock with the interview. He was absolutely so wired that he's as wired an athlete as I've ever seen after winning.
Well, you know, and Craig, great point, because you don't see heats that are that competitive that deep into the race.
Not very often.
And that went to the final turn. You know, anything could have happened. And well, Tire Factory turn 2, those boats, again, a 1 lap penalty to the home street, the one, Dylan Runney, for bearing out. And I've received some texts from people that have been watching the overhead shot, and we saw the overhead shot here, thanks to the H1 video crew, Tate and Jared Meyer and everybody doing a great job with that. And it looked like they did touch.
Okay. I did not see a mark on the side of the 9. I am on my way back up to the tower because I got to think we're really close to 1B.
So it was a gentle touch.
You know, it really was, but you could see it coming. You could see it coming from the overhead shot. And, you know, both boats have white paint in that area where they would have touched. I don't know what you'd see. And if there's no visible damage, thank goodness for that. Right.
Yeah, I didn't see any on Corey's boat.
Oh, you haven't seen Runny's boat yet?
No, he didn't get it back. And like I said, we've got to be getting close to 1B, so I'm finding my way back up to the tower.
Yeah, it's actually a 4:30 start, so
it's
you've
like
got some time.
4:12, so you got time.
It's 4:12?
Yeah, you've got an eternity.
All right, I'm going to pick up a burger and a fry and
wow.
head on up the beach.
Well, you
just come down here to Foodies.
Exactly.
They'll hook you up.
He's walking off whatever calories he's packing on over the meal between going from tower to. There you go.
Well, I saw pictures of lunch today, which is how close I got to it yesterday as well. Look good. Look good.
Got to keep your girlish figure.
Woo. Okay.
So what happens when you have a big flock of geese on the racetrack?
Well, they better get out of the way.
Exactly.
Could be a good idea.
One of the side boats pushed him out into the racetrack.
That's fantastic. You know, patrol boats are here for a reason. They're here to keep fans safe, right? Not in the water during the racing or the air show, and to scare away the wildlife should they need to. We've seen deer in the water before.
Is it necessary to say no wildlife was intentionally harmed during the execution of boat race weekend? The water follies accept no responsibility for any wildlife that meets its untimely demise.
That's fantastic. Again, congratulations to Corey Peabody. Beacon Plumbing, the 9, takes the checkered flag in Heat 1A from Par Lumber. Second place finish goes to J. Michael Kelly in the 8 Beacon Electric. So, how about that? Strong Racing, 1-2. Then in third place, Andrew Tate in the 91 Goodman Real Estate. Dylan Runny was bearing out and gets a 1-lap penalty and finishes in fourth place in the 1 Miss Home Street. But he was in there mixing it up. That was a fantastic race.
Well, it's, Tri-City strong.
We will take a timeout. Our coverage on 610 KONA, thanks to our Shell Sun Market stores, along with Gulf University Firehouse Subs, continues after this commercial break. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard. We should.
Well, yeah, I haven't been. But for the most part, I can't imagine being in a place other than this during this time. It's great. It's great.
Studio. Yeah. Cold. Nest, Clover Island End broadcast suite here at the Brutzman's Memorial Barge. As we look over to the Blue Bridge, 395 looks good. Behind us, the 240 looks fine, at least for now. That will change on the 240, especially when we have the lane restrictions allowing 2 lanes out of Columbia Park at the conclusion of our upcoming heat 1B from Par Lumber. So watch out for that.
Usually when you hear a helicopter in the background, I'm not sure if that's coming through over the broadcast microphone. Normally those are reserved for helicopters going up to provide some aerial shots at both ends of the race course. This particular individual, I'm not sure how he worked it with, you know, the landing facility being so close to the airport.
They're giving rides.
Yeah, $60 a head.
Oh, is it?
So each time he's taken off with the passengers, I'm just going, for him, you know, cha-ching and cha-ching and...
Yeah, fuel's not cheap, though.
No, and
and they cannot be up during the race.
Exactly.
So the drones are covering the race from H1, and let me tell you, their video work is just incredible. Our traffic watch on KONA, thanks to Bob's Burgers and Brew.
Well, I was also going to give props to the drones and the footage where you've got the mist of the rooster tail putting droplets on the camera. That's how close to the action some of these camera angles are. It's fantastic. We're under 10 minutes, my friend.
Yeah, we are, and we understand that the 9 and the 8 have been cleared for Par Lumber Heat 1A for Peabody and J. Michael Kelly in the Beacon Plumbing entries.
I could be wrong, but I believe that the 1 will be under double secret probation.
Well, they wanted to talk to the driver rep.
Yeah.
So they have that chance to talk about it before anything is put into the books.
Exactly right, sir.
So let's head down to the Neil F. Lamson pits and our pit reporters from American Radiator. Brad Luce, Craig West, Jeff Ayler's back down there now.
Yeah, I just made my way back up atop the tower. We are inside 5 minutes to the 5-minute gun. In fact, we are inside 4. We are at 8:45 to the start of our Heat 1B. Can we top Heat 1A? That was kind of fun. I don't know what was going on the shoreline. up above you guys and in your area, but our fans up above us, it was clear they had been waiting for some racing like that all day long, and they were hooting and hollering.
Well, Brad, you've seen Guntersville, you've seen Madison so far this season. Have you seen a heat that good?
Oh, gosh. Jeff, great question. He's sitting here without a mic. Help me out. You saw them all with me. Gosh, I don't know. That one was pretty good.
That's really good racing. I mean, we're fortunate to see racing that close through 3 laps.
Right.
Well, Michael, let me put it this way. I was up here on the tower with Brad. 4 Unlimiteds coming in turn number 1. I'm glad I wasn't on the call. I was shaking. It was some fierce battling, and I was wondering if some shenanigans was taking place in there in turn 1. And right now, the mistake of the weekend so far goes to boat number 1, a Dylan Runny. And Brad and Michael and team right now, the winner of this heat is setting in a pretty spot going into the second section, with Bobby King being the rookie driver starting back. Out of here with 400 points in 1B, that's huge.
It's really huge, and this is what you and I, Jeff, talked about down in Guntersville. We talked about it in Madison. This first section of heats, don't do anything stupid. You cannot win the Columbia Cup on Saturday. You can lose it, but you can't win it on Saturday. Go out there and score some points, and don't make a mistake.
Stay
and have
clean.
A problem, and now the home street's kind of at the bottom looking up.
You know, during the interview, I heard the 4 best boats were out here, almost like it was predetermined, although it was a blind draw. Do you guys agree with that assessment, that the 4 best boats in the field were in Heat 1A? Or do you think the 1B peeps will have something to say about that?
I think the boats in this heat are going to have something to say about it. I think there's more than 4 good boats in this particular pit area here. Jeff Ayler, your comment to that?
Well, handicapping him, you got to put the 40 flavor pack in there with the first 4 from the first heat, and that boat is stout this weekend. Dustin Eccles is confident after the blowover accident in Madison, and Bobby King gets his first crack here as a rookie. But right now, the local favorite, the Turbinator, Jimmy King, gets a good lane, and the Griggs presents Miss Ace Hardware. A win or a second is not without question.
And don't forget Jamie Nielsen. He was leading points coming into the weekend, right? Trust Company, Legend Yacht Transport.
He was definitely, he was by that slimmest of margin, 1 point. He was our leader. Qualifying changed that up a little bit. He's now trailing the national high points by 29, but a lot of points laying on the table here for the rest of the weekend, so this is going to get really, really good. Checking the watch, we are 5 minutes and 45 seconds, 5:45 to the start of our Heat 1B.
And AJ, pretty impressive when they all leave the pits together and come over to your tire factory turn number 2.
Yeah, I've been waiting for it, actually, a whole day and a half for all 4 hydroplanes to come towards me. I've been seeing them one at a time, so this was a really cool moment for me, actually.
Jimmy King in the 3, Griggs Ace Hardware, 610 K1A entry. Dustin Eccles in the 40 flavor pack. Jamie Nielsen, Trust Company, Legend Yacht Transport 11, and then the trailing boat, Graham Trucking 12 with Bobby King. So father and son out on the course, but he'll be 5 seconds back.
And I think it's great where AJ is, because we talk a lot about coming out of turn 1 and where the streams and the cross rollers, etc. But time and time again on this Columbia River course, turn 2 is where the heavy-duty drama goes down in one way, shape, or form. So I texted AJ earlier going, I'm so looking forward to your call, because this is, you know, the first time he's had a chance to see the 4 wide coming into that turn. And sure as shoot, there it is, brother. That's why turn number 2 is turn number 2 on this here Columbia River course.
And here they come.
Thanks for the confidence, Kurt, and I hope I didn't let you down on my first calls.
Bro, we are broadcast brothers in arms. Let's have some fun, round 2.
Dustin Eccles, the 40 flavor pack out first.
AJ?
Yeah.
Got a question for you.
Okay.
Are you ready for the final heat come tomorrow afternoon? Because you're going to have 6 of them coming side by
Yes,
side.
I am overly ready for that.
Buckle up, buddy.
Jamie Nielsen in the 11, Trust Company, Legend Yacht Transport. Heading up the backstretch, the Griggs backstretch in lane number 1, up to White's Finished Furniture and Hardwoods, turn number 3. And he's got a pretty darn near full throttle on it.
Here comes our 2 red boats. Griggs presents Miss Ace Hardware away from the dock with Jimmy King. Here comes his son. coming with him. Bobby King coming away from the dock now. He spools up the Lycoming turbine engine on the U12. The Graham Trucking got a whole lot of red headed your way. Got a whole lot of chartreuse and yellow up at the top end, Michael.
And across the Mosteller start-finish line on the front stretch is Nielsen in the 11.
Interesting.
Just
for
at the exit pin of turn number 4 of the flavor pack.
For the photo opportunity and for, documenting it, hydroplane racing history. The Kings, Pocket Kings coming out together. And I thought it was interesting that all of the boats were out on the course starting to shore up in one way, shape, or form at the 5-minute mark. Both the Kings didn't come out till there was under 4, more like about 3:30 on the clock. Gamesmanship or just, a different tack, I guess.
It's just a different tack. You don't want to use the same start procedure every single time. Mix it up. The other piece to that puzzle is if you have got a really slick move, don't play it in Heat 1B. Save that for tomorrow afternoon about 4:30.
Great point.
So down to the lower end of the race course, Dustin Eccles with the flavor pack. He goes through in about lane number 3 right in front of AJ.
No takers on the ESCO Electric infield. Heat 1B thanks to Par Lumber on News Radio 610 KONA and 610KONA.com.
2:30 mark.
It's the piston-powered Griggs boat. Jimmy King across the Mosteller start-finish line.
I'm kind of pulling for the piston power. I got to be honest with you. I know I'm supposed to stay neutral, but I just want him to be competitive, stay in it, and have a good showing. I mean, the fans just absolutely love the piston power, the popularity, the populist.
So who's got the best position right now?
Oh, we've got a taker across the ESCO Electric infield.
Everybody's
It's the
got a
Florida.
different-
It's the flavor pack. Dustin Eccles.
Yeah, and here goes Jamie Nielsen. And this is a legal maneuver where he's doing it. He has to cut on the Grand Prix race course. That is a legal maneuver. Who is in the best position right now? You can't tell because there's so many different variables and so many different things you can do, and a lot's going to change in the next 1:35 is coming up right now. You don't want. I always say you don't want to be down at this end of the race course at 1:30.
Nielsen jumps across the ESCO Electric infield to the front stretch.
Oh, I don't know what he's going to do. I mean, we got less than 1:30.
Oh, the Griggs boat continues around the top end of the course.
Oh, there's no way they're going to make it back in time.
Minute 20. Yeah, he can.
He's taking it really wide. He can speed up. He can get there.
Keep an eye on Dustin Eccles with 1:12 right in front of you, AJ. He
There
can
he
sit
is.
lane 1 and take it if he wants it.
Flavor pack is in lane 1 right now.
Keep an eye on the piston mode. He may cut the race course down here. He's got to go around the GP course to do it.
Here comes Nielsen. He's flying, trying to catch up.
And I'm not sure.
Why is Jimmy going all the way down?
Yeah, he is, but he does this before. He'll keep the speed up and he keeps the RPM. He'll be there. Don't you worry. 35 seconds. Take him, Michael, up the back chute.
He's got his timing mark. He knows where he's at on the Columbia River in the Griggs boat with 39 seconds to the start of Heat 1B from Par Lumber. On the inside, you've got the flavor pack with Dustin Eccles. Nielsen in lane number 2.
30 seconds.
Bobby King in the Graham Trucking 12 is way on the outside, and he'll have to be behind the trailer boat as a rookie. Now you've got Jimmy King, who will pull up in lane number 3 in the Griggs Ace Hardware U3. They are up to the top end of the course and to Buffalo Brothers exit pin for turn number 4.
10.
Eccles, lane number 1. Nielsen in lane number 2. A hard charging, but way behind is the 3 with Jimmy King. He's way off the start.
Great start.
Ooh, that was really close for Jamie Nielsen. He's got the boat speed and the lead in Par Lumber Heat 1B. Heading down to turn number 1 for All Doors Incorporated. It is a legal start.
AJ coming right to you. Jamie Nielsen on the outside.
Jamie Nielsen in the U11, bouncing a little bit. Ooh, he just kind of popped over. Looks like that Eccles managed to catch up a little bit on corner number 2.
Tire Factory turn number 2. Eccles made a move in the flavor pack.
U3 is going back to the pit area.
It didn't sound right from the get-go, and I think that's maybe why Jimmy King moved way outside in the milling period. So the race leaders are at the top end of the course in a White's Finish Furniture and Hardwoods turn number 3. On the inside, Eccles in the 40 flavor pack trying to catch up with Nielsen in lane number 2. A really nice turn by Nielsen. And look at the Legend Yacht Transport 11 come down the front stretch for the completion of lap number 1. He's flying it out of the water. Oh, trying to catch up on the inside. Can Dustin Eccles make a move in lap number 2? Yeah. He gets to All Doors Incorporated, turn number 1.
Legend Yacht Transport presented by the Trust Company. Jamie Nielsen's got to get down here first, but Flavor Pack has got the late position on the inside. He's back about 7 boat lengths, AJ.
The U11 coming around the corner in first place. Nielsen looking great. Eccles still about 3/4 of a rooster tail behind, but trying to get up there, trying to catch up.
Yeah, that Flavor Pack seemed to lose more speed than Eccles did on the outside.
So
that inside lane can get awfully lumpy.
And when he nailed that start, all he did was continue to push, but he cannot shake the competition fully just yet.
Watch Eccles. He's been gaining on the Griggs backstretch as they go into the White's Furniture. Turn number 3 to Buffalo Brothers. Turn number 4, it's still Nielsen out in front, and that water is a little bit bumpy. Oh, major adjustment just to get around the exit pin of the Buffalo Brothers. Turn number 4 for the Flavor Pack boat. Nielsen with over a rooster tail lead now at the completion of lap number 2. Heading down the front stretch to All Doors Incorporated, turn number 1.
Yeah, Dustin Eccles just moved to the outside. Jamie Nielsen was just pinning Dustin Eccles on that inside lane. He couldn't do anything, and now he's got almost 2 rooster tails. Nielsen right to AJ.
Nielsen in first by almost 2 rooster tails, looking amazing. He's going to definitely, as long as nothing happens, looks like he's sailing. Then we got, of course, Eccles screaming by in second, and then third place, Bobby King coming in as the trail boat.
Yeah, that's going to be big points, Dave, for the third place.
Absolutely with the points.
So back up to the top end of the course, off of the Griggs backstretch into the White's Finish Furniture and Hardwoods, turn number 3. Jamie Nielsen on the 2.5-mile super speedway. Into Buffalo Brothers, turn number 4. Holding the buoy line pretty close as he gets to the exit pin onto the front stretch. The checkered flag is out. And your winner for Heat 1B, Par Lumber, Jamie Nielsen. Legend Yacht Transport presents the Trust Company. Second place for the Flavor Pack with Dustin Eccles in the 40. Bobby King staying way outside in the Graham Trucking number 12, just at the exit pin now, and onto the front stretch will take third place points. Unfortunately, for the fan favorite piston-powered U3 Griggs Ace Hardware, Jimmy King did not finish.
Hey, let's hear it for the Rook. Putting some points on a board.
How about that?
I tell you, not only does he become a driver legit, he puts points on the board in the first heat he ever races. Congratulations to the Kings. I'm sorry for Jimmy, happy for Bobby.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get Craig maybe to come down and grab Jimmy King, find out what the story is maybe there and why he was unable to complete the heat.
In the milling period, it seemed like that last lap that Jimmy King took when he moved to the outside and came by start finish, something didn't sound quite right with the boat, engine-wise.
I'm sure they're going to let us know.
Well, I got a lift down here, and I didn't want you to have to listen to this. We're going to stop right here if we can. This is Legend Yacht Transport presented by the Trust Company. Heath, thank you very much, young man. I just got myself a ride, and ooh, does that feel good. So boats are coming back to the dock. I might actually be able to beat them this time, thanks to Heath. And here comes Jamie Nielsen. The lid goes up. And I got a hunch you're going to hear some fans do some cheering down here.
By the way, Brad, it was a clean start, and there were no calls.
Clean start, no calls. That's what we're all being told. Jamie Nielsen, wow.
Celebration on the docks.
Attaboys all around.
Everything is unofficial at this point, but about as official as you can get on the water. They got that part taken care of. You can check that box. Jamie Nielsen back to the dock. A very, very happy crew. And a hug and a smooch from boat owner Shannon Rainey. While he takes the hard hat off and Shannon grabs him, gets him his hat and the obligatory bottle of ice cold water. Yeah, if this all holds up, Mike's picking up a bunch of conversation down here, but if this does hold up and go through tech inspection, a high five and a fist bump from boat owner Scott Rainey.
Wanted to mention what happened to Griggs 3, oil was coming out of the engine and they had to shut it down.
Thank you very much for that. Mr. Nielsen, sir, you've been racing. That was fun.
Oh, that was a race for sure, man. That was everything we had to keep Dustin behind us. And, man, he drove a great race. Anytime you can beat a boat like that, you know we're doing something good. But, you know, this U11 Legend Yacht Transport presented by the Trust Company, this team's giving me a great boat. All the work they put in this weekend testing, I think it shows that we found a combination that can hang with these guys.
From my perspective, I've never been in one of these things, but from my perspective, you had him on the inside and you just pinned him in lane 1 legally.
The best I could legally. I mean, Dustin's a true gentleman racer, and I would expect nothing less from him, and I want to give him the same courtesy out there. So, especially first heat of the weekend, you don't want to build any enemies out there. So Dustin's a great guy. It's a great race. Hope the fans enjoyed it just as much as we did, because I think we're both hanging it out there just about as much as we could.
As we saw in the first heat, which was great competition, the fans up the beach were hooting and hollering. This was really, really good racing. And as far as pinning him on the inside lane, at the beginning of the third lap, he finally said, all right, I'm done. He moved outside. That had to feel good.
Oh, that was music to my ears to hear those words. But, man, what a great crowd today. Went down, visited all those fans down there in that Trust Company VIP tent. I could almost hear you out there. You guys were so loud. So love being out here, love Tri-Cities, and looking forward to the rest of the weekend.
Well, we're looking forward to watching you the rest of the weekend. And the boat appears to all be in one piece. And isn't that a nice Saturday night for your crew?
Oh, that's a relief for sure.
Go get some more water, relax, have a good evening, and do me one favor. Would you please come back and do this again tomorrow?
You got it, Brad. Thanks.
Jamie Nielsen, driver of the U11, the Legend Yacht Transport, presented by the Trust Company. I'm going to walk down the dock just a little bit and grab Dustin Eccles. Same thing I said to him. He got the, here, he's right here. Go ahead, you guys. All right, so the competitors shake hands. You got that inside lane, and then he got out in front of you, and he wasn't giving you a whole lot of room to move in there.
You know, Jamie did a perfect job. He drove a perfect race, a clean race. He left me exactly what he should have and what I would have left him for room. He drove great, and you know, I second-guessed myself from the start just a hair. There's a lot of fast boats here. I thought, man, if you jump, you're going to put yourself in a really bad situation going forward. So I was trying to be err on the side of caution, and I should have went with my gut. I got the inside, but I just need to get better on my start. So.
But that's okay, because as we always say, you can't win the race on Saturday. You can lose it, and you got 300 points, and I'm assuming your boat is all in one piece like his is.
Oh yeah, no, we're ecstatic. We learned a ton from that run. We're going to go back and look at the data. It's fast, and I got my timing marks are right on, and we have a bunch of different things up our sleeves. So I'm excited, but I just want to go over and tell Jamie what a good job he did. And the Flavor Pack boat is going to be out front this weekend. I can promise you that.
Well, you guys have a mutual admiration society going, because he was saying similar things about you. He loves racing with you like that. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Yeah, good, clean racing, and we'll see him tomorrow.
Flavor Pack, baby.
Absolutely.
There it is.
Thanks.
Flavor Pack, they get their first heat, 300 points, second place. That's a real positive start to the weekend for those guys. If you like that racing, those of you on the H1 Unlimited YouTube channel, tune in tomorrow. We're going to do this over and over again.
Yeah, Flavor Pack, farmer owned, and you know what? Dustin Eccles growing on me.
Really?
Yeah.
Does he pass the mic test?
Yeah, that was a great interview.
Yeah, it's a good guy.
Yeah.
A lot of
I thought so,
enthusiasm.
too.
Don't you love to see that genuine enthusiasm and the sportsmanship? You know, the sport, as far as the drivers are concerned, and coming here to Tri-Cities, you know, it's in very good hands. You know, the prediction of the demise is way off.
And what he said about Jamie Nielsen giving him just the amount of room that was necessary was absolutely right.
Right,
and we could see it from the overhead view.
And then you could see at the end when it was time. Okay, you know,
at the end of lap number 2, Jamie Nielsen was perfectly positioned, and really it was so difficult at that point for Dustin Eccles in the Flavor Pack, because he was actually looked like a little bit inside the buoy line, and he had to kind of make a little adjustment to get around the buoy safely and not clip it. And then he was done with that inside lane. He didn't want to be there anymore.
But I think there was some really, really good racing, because, again, the start was just nailed, and he carried that boat speed the entire race, but he couldn't shake him. You know, I mean, he stayed within that rooster tail for about a lap and a half with that chop on the inside lane, and, you know, you really got to have your driving wits about you when you're trying to track somebody down with the inside lane. That was a really couple of fun heats to watch, 1A and 1B. So I think it's just indicative of what we're going to see tomorrow.
Special thanks on our broadcast to Sun Pacific Energy and our Shell Sun Market stores, along with All Doors Incorporated, Tire Factory, White's Finished Furniture and Hardwoods, Buffalo Brothers, Clover Island Inn, along with Esco Electric, Broadmoor RV, American Radiator, Anderson and Zents Dental, Legends Casino, Coleman Oil, Bob's Burger and Brew, along with All City Transmission, Griggs, and Thornworks. Also, thanks to Canyon Lakes Golf Course, Columbia Basin Paper, Apollo Heating and Air, and Golf Universe, Farmers Exchange, Firehouse Subs, and Washington Hardware, along with the Umatilla County Fair. Don't go anywhere. Thanks to Broadmoor RV, while you're camped out in traffic, we'll bring you today's highlights. It's the Rooster Tail Wrap-Up Show, thanks to Broadmoor RV, next on 610 KONA and 610KONA.com. Well, welcome back to the Crow's Nest Clover Island broadcast suite here at the Brutsman's Memorial Barge. John Mosteller Memorial Start Finish Line. Michael McDonald, Kirk Cartier. Tire Factory turn number 2. That's where we find A.J. Brewster. We still have our American Radiator pit reporters Craig West, Jeff Ayler, and Brad Luce. And recapping the day's action, well, there's so many places we could begin.
Right.
But Heat 1A for Par Lumber stands out in my mind as some of the best hydroplane racing that I've had the opportunity to see.
Well, Craig West hit it right on the head, the genuine over-the-top enthusiasm. I mean, the sport's in great hands when the drivers are getting that giddy about a boat race. I mean, he just couldn't stop talking about how great that heat was, and I completely agree with him. You know, and 1B had its own touch of greatness to it as well. I mean, it's really hard not to have a good race when you've got good drivers basically on par, parity with the, you know, and I love the comment, I'm not sure who the driver was who said it, but you just wait, we got a few things up our sleeve.
Isn't that funny?
For the rest of this weekend.
I know.
Whoo, yeah.
Let's head down to the Lamson pits first and our American Radiator pit reporters. Who do we have with a headset and a microphone?
Brad's here.
Excellent.
Craig's here. We're
Right
sitting
on.
here. Water's here. Gatorade's here.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Biggest takeaway from day number 2?
Wow. I guess the biggest takeaway was we saw all the qualifying. We kept talking about the parity. We kept saying, man, Guntersville, you should have been there. Madison, you should have been there. And then we qualify, and the boats are so tightly bunched. And then sometimes when that happens, you run a couple of heats of competition, and they bitterly disappoint. Not today. Everything we've been talking about came to be. It was just terrific deck-to-deck racing. That first heat, Michael McDonald, that was as good as it gets. I always say hook a couple of boats up, put them side by side, and the fans will go crazy. And maybe that's what I remember the most, was these fans up the beach from us during that first heat when Corey stuck that white nose out in front of that powder blue. The whole beach over here just erupted. And we waited all day to get H1 on the water, and it didn't disappoint. That's my takeaway. It's probably going to make it hard for me to sleep tonight. And that's a good thing.
You're right, Brad, because, you know, you get the boats out on the water and you hope for a heat like that. You never know when you're going to get one, and we may not have another the rest of the race weekend.
Right on.
Who else is down in the pits, Craig?
Yeah, we're here. And, you know, one of the things I think I took from Heat 1 was how quickly, and to show how competitive things are, J. Michael Kelly was up and out. And he just wasn't, I don't think he was that excited with what went on. But, you know, they're competitive. They want to win.
And Jeff Adler.
Thank you, Michael. Great run by Jamie Nielsen in Heat 1B. I went down to the home street camp before I came up. Dylan Runny obviously not happy with the penalty delivered in 1A. There's an engine swap going on right now with the Goodman Real Estate. Miss Madison President Charlie Grooms indicated to me we're going to put the big one in the 91. We'll see how they perform tomorrow. And an update on the turbinator, and Craig had the report earlier. Lots of oil out of the turbocharged Allison. They've got some work ahead of them this evening to get ready for tomorrow. Ed Cooper Jr. has another bullet in the truck, and they'll insert another World War II turbocharged Allison in the Griggs Miss Ace hardware for tomorrow's activity.
And that will be our tech report, thanks to All City Transmission. Let's go over to Tire Factory turn number 2. And thank you guys in the pits for all that you did today to bring to life what's happening to not only everybody here along the Columbia River and Pasco shoreline, but all across the internet and on the H1 video system as well.
I'll second that. Fantastic reporting in the pits. Thank you, gentlemen.
Mark Ratner as well.
Absolutely.
Let's jump over to A.J. Brewster over in Tire Factory turn number 2.
Heat 1A specifically, that first corner around to me was a highlight of the whole weekend. It probably will be of my lifetime, actually. That first call of 4 boats coming right towards me, that was awesome. The other thing that you guys don't get to see, which is just kind of humor, is I'm right next to about 15 tents, right? All people partying. And they want to get down in the water, and to do that, they have this really steep and so they've been falling and slipping, and they got a rope tied to hopefully help them, but both on the way down and on the way up all day, people have been slipping and sliding. It's been funny.
Yeah.
So that's been my memory over here on turn 2, is the people trying to get down to the water that have been they've been enjoying themselves
I
today.
just knew you'd bring a different perspective. Thanks, AJ.
You're welcome,
People
Mike.
falling. That's great. What a highlight. The one of the biggest takeaways for me is the S1 in the 2.5 liter class staying on the trailer for the races today, and Jeff Bernard not being out there to mix it up, and that left the door open for Davenport and others to have an opportunity, right? That's and also Gunnar O'Farrell to pick up wins today. That was amazing. I think that's a really big story.
I'm not the guy that wants to do something not good in the cornflakes. I'm just a little disappointed that it took so long to get any H1 action. I thought it
true.
When you're not capitalizing on the F-35, you know me, I'm a big aviation guy. So, to have the F-35 Lightning II gracing us with the fact that, it's a female fighter pilot, her 4th year doing this, second go around here in the Tri-Cities, dropping the flares, all that. The vintage boats are great. I get it. I love the fact that the fans are treated to 3 different classes of boats, but a lot of the fans, I think more than 50%, are here for the H1s. And if the testing, if you're whetting the appetite at the early hours of the morning and then you wait till 4 in the afternoon, I don't know. I'm just not sure if that's planned properly. I'd like to see either more and cut back a touch on Sunday or just space it out a little bit more. But again.
So, Mike, is the problem with that they don't want that much wear and tear on the boat, so there's a limited amount of runs?
Well, it's interesting because you look at the format that's coming up next week, right, at Seafair with Gold Cup that adds an additional heat of racing on Saturday, right? We used to run that, and we have since 2015. So you've got 2 sets of heat races on Saturday and 2 on Sunday, and then the final on Sunday. So we kind of missed out on that early heat today that will be on the schedule next week at Seattle.
Maybe it's a logistics thing, again, because you've got 3 different classifications of boats.
In the end, we all know that it boils down to money. And for some reason, I would say that there's got to be dollars and cents involved.
Understood.
We will take a timeout. Coming up, we will take you through what happened in the GP class of boats and hear from some of the winners earlier today, including Greg Hopp and Jeff Bernard. That's up next on the Rooster Tail Wrap-Up